I mean, being in his presence gave me a pregnancy glow. Like, I might be pregnant now.
It's another edition of KFC Radio on the Barstool Sports Network. I'm not sure when this is airing because we're just kind of recording, but we got a lot to talk about, I feel like.
Yeah.
We'll start off with the Brady 3. Feitelberg, Gaz, and Hank had their big moment in the sun at the Tom Brady Hall of Fame induction. That's what
Patriots
it was?
Hall of Fame, yeah.
Patriots Hall of Fame induction. I'm so happy for you, man. I was so happy for you. I was really genuinely happy for you. It was like, it was no doubt in my mind one day you would meet Tom Brady. I just didn't know when it was going to be. Eventually it was just going to have to happen. I'm happy it happened there, and I'm happy he really recognized it and shouted it out, both in his speech, but also that video of you guys meeting, whether before or after, whatever that was, where he kind of talked with you guys, and what he said, he was like, "You guys are infamous, you're notorious,
the number one."
Yeah, he kind of was spitting bars.
You guys are notorious, infamous, but all for you. Number one. All for you. Number one. I appreciate it. That's awesome.
I know.
If I was a producer,
he's the fucking best.
If I was a producer, I would chop that up for a beat and have him ad-lib, "You're notorious, you're gangster, you're number one." I mean, he was spitting.
It was one of those things where you can plan a million times what you'd say. And never did I think my first words were "shut up," dude.
But it made sense, right? Because his first words to you was "you guys are great."
Thank you guys so much for all your support. Shut up, dude. Thank you.
He's like, "Thank you so much, guys." Shut up,
yeah,
Tom.
Stop it. I don't even want your
literally.
thank yous.
I actually had to explain this to my mom. I forget, fairly recently, where I was like, the most important person in my life is Tom Brady.
The most influential, for sure. Yeah.
And she said, still, because of, and I was like, no, it's not. Yes, the football stuff, obviously, but literally, this doesn't exist without Tom Brady.
Yep.
It just does.
Yes, I've heard some people be like, you could make the argument, and I'm like, it's not an argument.
Right.
It's just a fact.
Yeah.
It's just a fucking fact. That's why I'm always kind of torn about him. I'm like, fucking hate your guts, but hey, at least I got something out of it. And then he gives you guys the shout out during the speech.
Yes.
And the cameras pan to you, and it looked like you guys were sitting pretty close, or no?
We were insanely close.
Yeah, it looked like you were the first table.
No, it's actually weird. We were the table. We were kind of far from the stage, actually. I mean, not far. We were probably 4 rows of tables back. I think we were table 32. So I don't know how many were across, but whatever. But we were right next to his table.
Okay, yeah, it looked like center on.
Yeah, he wasn't sitting at his table a lot.
Sure.
It was mostly his family,
right.
But we were a stone's throw from his table. But it was crazy.
Yeah, he's you guys are the fans are the best. We got so many of you. We got these guys that went to jail for me. And then they put you up there. You got a nice little pop. It was good.
We got a surprise, particularly at that stage of the night, because I actually think we should reinvent these kind of events. The guest of honor should speak halfway through, because by the end of the night, it was so much clapping and so much stuff.
You're tired.
The crowd was out of juice.
Yeah.
Like I actually felt really bad for Tom.
I felt bad for Tom. You know what else I felt bad for? Jay-Z.
Yeah.
Those people, and I understand they're not there for a Jay-Z concert, so whatever. But those people don't understand how rare that to get Jay to perform and to do a song like that, and people were just walking around as Hove was performing.
To be fair to the people, it wasn't that no one knew that was coming. We did, but no one. It wasn't announced. There was no everyone give it up for Jay-Z.
Yeah,
they just played Tom Brady's,
which is fucking crazy.
They just played Tom Brady's music, which I think everyone probably just assumed. Oh, they're playing Tom Brady's entrance song. He's gonna walk in.
Wait. Is that is an official Tom Brady thing?
Oh yeah, that's why he came.
Well, I mean, I remember him putting out a video or whatever it was, but
no, when he
comes into the game,
when he takes the field, it's allow me for warm-ups. They come out as a team,
right.
But when he comes out for warm-ups, it's allow me to reintroduce. My name is Hove, and Brady comes running out.
Cool.
What a duo. No one thought that it was. Again, we had been told before, so we knew, so we were in our seats ready to go. But it
could have just been playing over the speakers.
It wasn't out of place.
And there was the smoke and shit. You couldn't even really see Jay-Z.
Actually, for a while, I thought
he's not
they
there.
fucked up.
Yeah.
I thought they put up too much smoke. I was like, they're not gonna be able to see the stage for the whole 3 minutes.
Yeah.
People aren't gonna know it's JC.
Yeah.
Luckily it dissipated a bit, but I was not positive.
He just did that and was done?
that song.
That's fucking nuts. Hey, Jay, you want to just come do one song? Like,
he did one song. Kenny Chesney did one song.
what a duo. But yeah, everything I heard was that it was like so long.
It was long, but it honestly wasn't that long. I never felt stale, but I did think that the crowd started to get stale. There started to be you could hear people talking a little bit.
Yeah.
And it's just because the same thing happened at the roast. At the roast, it was the same type deal. It was 3 hours.
By the time
he got up there, it was kind of like everyone's fucking tired.
Well, you know what the problem is? If you put someone midway, people will get up and leave early. What a move.
It's a crazy move. I think Dave's doing an incredible spin.
I mean, of course,
Yeah.
you knew Dave's bulletproof, Dave knows exactly what to do. He keeps saying game 3 as if it's game 7. He's like, it was game 3 of the finals. I was like, if there's a game to miss, it's game 3 when you're up 2-0. Like literally, that's like the one game you could miss. Of course, he'll spin it as I'm a big. I said to Whitney, if you played that, or if you played that clip of them on the Unnamed Show arguing for people who just did not know the situation, I think the people listening, their logical conclusion would be like, this guy plays for the Celtics, right? Like he was genuinely talking. Like I think we're at the point, and I don't know if he's he's probably right, where he thinks he impacts the games. Because I mean, at this point, there's more proof that he does impact it and win championships than not. But he can say it all he wants. He's gotta regret that.
I honestly don't think he does.
Well, he's so like everything he always can zig and zag.
But we were talking in the car.
Hearts,
It wasn't in the car. It was. So first of all, I obviously am not. I always give it the caveat that I hope the Celtics win, but I'm not going to pretend that I'm wholly invested in the Celtics. Right. I don't know what I would do if it was the Bruins. I don't think I'd leave because, as Dave has said, as I've said to you, we knew that was coming. We didn't know what was being said, but we knew we were mentioned in the speech.
Even crazier to leave.
So I think that would keep me glued during a Bruins game. I think I'd be like.
But also, forget about like just for yourself. Like, if I got invited by an owner and then knew I was getting shout out in a speech, I'm fucking staying for that speech. That's just And then on top of it, after that is my personal I want to experience that.
Yeah. It was. I mean, we knew.
And did he leave? He went to the Harp.
He went to the Harp, which is it's in Patriot Place. It's right next door.
Okay.
There's a Harp in Boston.
It wasn't like he was like, I'm going to a suite in the stadium. It's like you leave the stadium.
Leave the stadium. Yeah. It's right outside, but it is leaving the stadium.
That's crazy.
But what was I gonna say? Yeah. So we'd been told by a couple of people that hey, people who didn't even know we were gonna be there, like, oh, you guys are here, you're gonna shout out in the speech, and that's crazy. So Gaz had people watching it, but I had told Gaz because it was someone I was sitting next to, and I kind of leaned across the table. I was like, hey, you have someone recording this, right? Because apparently we're gonna shout out in the speech, and then I got to went to the bathroom at one point, and when I came back, Hank was in my seat because him and Austin were watching the game on a phone. And then Dave, I was sitting next to Dave now, and Dave was watching, he couldn't get to work on his phone, so he was watching just the score update. And I don't know if I was locked in or zoned out. I was one or the other. I was either locked into the show or I was completely zoned out. But I didn't hear any conversation, and then there was just a kerfuffle at the table, and I kind of snapped out. And everyone was standing. I was like, wait, you guys leaving? And then Hank and Gaz sat down. I don't know if I was the impetus for that. As I hear it now, it seems like they might have had a plan set in place. But
John led the charge. As far as I'm concerned, John is the captain of the Brady Four. At this point, At this point, John is the captain of the Brady Four, not Dave. Let's clip that and put that out there.
And they kind of sat back down, and then I saw Dave leave, and I still was like, "Is he gone?"
Yeah.
And because again, we knew it was coming, and I couldn't, as I understood it at that point, I think it was like a 15-point game. Don't quote me on that. And then when it came, we knew we were getting mentioned, but we did not know about the Jumbotron like that. And then, because then if you watch the video, there's a woman who comes running over, and she's like pushing me and Gaz. I think she's a production person.
Like saying stand up?
Like stand up.
Yeah.
We've even got 4 guys who went to jail for me sitting right here as RKK's special guests.
And that was Hank giving himself. I remember seeing PFT's tweet where he's like Hank giving himself a standing ovation because Hank's going like this, and I was laughing at that. But then I'm going like this too. I'm like,
of course, you gotta get the crowd going.
But then we got back. We finally get to because that was always the plan. Was we had a room at the Harp at 9:30, and because that was when it was supposed to end, and then we were gonna go right there.
But,
and
if somebody told me that that's ending at 9:30, I'd say see you at 11.
100%.
You know?
I said 3 hours the whole time. It was like it's scheduled 2.5. It's 3 for sure.
Minimum, yeah.
But then when we get there and we're kind of busted, I mean, like as much as people like us can bust Dave balls,
right?
And it's just like, what are you doing? Whatever. And he keeps. I texted you this where he kept standing his ground, and it felt very much like the Good Will Hunting scene with Will and Robin Williams. When Robin Williams is talking about, I gotta go see about a girl, and he's like, I slid my thing across the table, and then he's like, you were there, that whole thing, and Dave kept being like, nope, I have no regrets. I had to see about a girl. I had to see about the game. And then we would be like, yeah, but it was kind of sick. And he goes, well, I didn't know it was going to be on the Jumbotron. I didn't know Yaz was going to hit a home run.
Right. But, I just, that is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity where anything could happen. I don't know. We might be on the Jumbotron. Maybe fucking Tom Brady comes over to the table. Yeah. Maybe he says, come up on stage. I don't know, but I'm going to fucking see it through to make sure. When you are so on Unnamed Show, he said that he was worried about. He was like, I'm going to get mobbed leaving this place.
He would have, for sure.
So it's just funny to say that at Tom Brady. You know what I mean? Like, there's a lot of people in the building that got to get out of the building, but he probably would have been mobbed. So he was like, I wanted to get out and get there on time, and he said that Gaz and Hank agreed to that.
Yeah.
And then he was going to leave first. They would follow, and they just didn't follow. So I do probably think that if you said something like, you guys are fucking leaving, it might have snapped them out of it. Like, hey, man, maybe we should go.
I think the plan might have been Dave leaves, and then they leave shortly thereafter.
Yeah.
But then, by the time
the speech started.
Then it was the speech just started, and it was like, well, you
can't
give Kraft is speaking. What happens at the end of the speech is he gives Brady the jacket, and he talks. So, it's kind of crazy to leave now.
It's crazy to leave. It's just crazy to leave. When you're a special guest. And for the purposes of being polite, but also it's this is the end of it. You guys began 20 years ago, and it ends here. Maybe when he goes to the actual Hall of Fame, there's one more thing that he'll do. But this is for the Patriots. This is the bookend.
Yeah.
And you were a part of it, and you're invited, and you're there till 9 o'clock, and then you're like, I'm gonna go at 9. Well, what? That is so crazy. And I don't care what else is on or what you say. That's a moment you want to have. When you're on your deathbed and they say, "Are you happy that you watched at a bar Game 3 of the Celtics Mavs?" That's not gonna be a big moment in your life. It's just not.
It's either that or. And this is literally what happened. It's just I've been saying it to myself in my head, and it's just what happened. Is the greatest quarterback of all time chose to intertwine us forever. In his Hall of Fame induction
that will
speech,
be replayed and seen, and
he chose to intertwine us. We are now inseparable with Tom Brady. It was mentioned in his fucking Hall of Fame speech.
Planned, they had producers being stand up, they wanted, they were we're gonna make you, not only you intertwine, we're gonna make you a highlight of the speech. It's unreal, man. Unreal. I mean, again, when you've been in the game as long as he has, he can spin anything. He's bulletproof in a way that you just described, where it's like, we can bust his balls, but it'll just roll off his back. He's Teflon. If it was someone else, if the tables were turned, anybody else at the company had, I don't even know how somebody else could even have an equivalent thing going on. I mean, he would murder you. He would crush you. He'd make fun of you. He would, say you're going to regret it for the rest of your life. He would remind you about it every single day. So, of course, he's not going to just be like, you know what, though? Honestly, this should have been I took him Emeka Okafor.
Yeah.
It really, that probably should. That's what he said, right? Or no, I didn't take Emeka Okafor, right? Or what was it? You know what I'm saying?
Okafor played for UConn. I don't
right.
know. Yeah.
So whatever it was, when Jim Calhoun just like admitted he got it wrong. Or I drafted Emeka Okafor. I'm butchering it, but you know what I mean. Like, it should have just been I don't know. I fucked that one up.
But it is. I don't know if it's because Dave's so good at these, or he just always finds himself in these ones where the spin he's giving is excellent. The people who get bashed are people who leave games early, not people who leave events early to get to a game.
I know, but it's not an event. It's like the event. But it is a perfect, I'm sorry for being such a big Celtics fan. His play. And so the diehard Celtics fan, because there are people out there who are like, I mean, not many, but there are probably people out there who care about basketball and not really about football. They're like, fuck, you're a Celtics fan. I'm a Celtics fan first. It's the only potential spin job. I just still don't think it's enough to, again, like, you're not on the team or anything. You're just watching it at a bar. Crazy though.
Bill Burr came out to me after, and he was like, first of all, I was shocked Bill Burr recognized me. I didn't know.
That doesn't surprise me because he's always been a real Barstool guy. I know he's a monster,
that's true.
But he really always was like early. I mean, he came on our show when we were really pretty still like nobodies,
Yeah, I was still terrified to interview Bill Burr.
Right. Yeah, we were like thrown to the fire. Like one of our first, right? One of our first, in the grand scheme of things, interviews was him.
And at that time too, he also was like he had a lot of YouTube highlight reels of him being a dick to interviewers.
Yeah,
and
so it was like, we're next.
Oh god, damn. But he came over and he said hi, and then he asked where Dave was, and I was like, he left, and Bill thought I was kidding.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, this is not. It's not like you didn't leave like some shitty party to go to the game. Like, you're not. This is like the one event where that doesn't fly. It's like this was, when Dave is talking about Boston sports, like, even though it's the Celtics in the finals, with the way the series is playing out, the Boston sports moment of the night was not the Celtics.
Yeah.
It was that.
Yeah.
So if you're repping Boston sports, like,
which shout out Boston sports, by the way, because first of all, that death may have been over exaggerated. Second of all, in Boston last night, in the New England area, Boston and Foxborough, there were probably roughly 90,000 people in seats at arenas or stadiums. There was no live event at either. That's kind of crazy.
They were watching the away games.
The watch party was sold out at TD Garden.
That's such a great. Whoever invented that trend, it's so smart. You probably just you sell tickets, right?
I think you sell tickets.
It's also
such a great
great atmosphere,
for kids. It's people who you can't take a kid on to $1,000 seat, right?
But you can still.
I'm going to show them and get them involved in the sport.
Yeah, totally.
Do you think in the future we'll have virtual, because they already did it during the All-Star game where it was the court was could change.
Yeah.
You think that they'll have the game playing on the court for away games too?
Instead of the Jumbotron?
Probably.
Probably. I bet you they have.
I never thought of that.
I don't know if you could see it live, but I bet right now they have some technology where if you had the recording, you could do those little Star Wars-y type things.
Yeah.
But you know what's crazy? 90,000 people? There's only 400,000 people in Boston, right?
I don't know what the size is exactly.
Look up the population of Boston. I
want to say Massachusetts is 4 million, 5 million.
I think the city of Boston is under 500,000 people, or right around that. All right, 650. So if there's around 100,000 people there, it's a chunk of the whole fucking city. It's fucking nuts, There's 100,000 people doing something in New York. It's whatever. It's 100,000 out of 9 million. So yeah, that's they're still doing their thing. So Dave leaves the thing early. That's one thing. Also hilarious that he was walking. You guys walked 1.5 miles from a McDonald's.
He got
so Barstool
mailed. He doesn't even know where it went. The parking pass.
Right.
And we were like, well, we're not staying. I mean, we're not leaving right away anyway, so we don't really care. Right. So it's not that big a deal to not have the parking pass because we knew we were going to the Harp after.
Right.
So we were meeting Hank and Elio. Is it Elio or Elio?
Which one is it?
That's why I always get him fucked up because Gaz's best friend is also. I know
Dave's Elio is Elio.
Okay, so it's Elio. Okay. Gaz's is Elio. Mr. Rice, I'm gonna call him.
Actually,
who's the fucking funniest guy in the world, by the way.
I was gonna say,
I love Mr. Rice.
This is. Oh, yes. Yeah. Elio. I was going to say it might be Elio because Dave mispronounces things all the time. But Dave says Elio. I don't think I've ever heard.
It's so confusing. They both have a best friend named Elio and Elio. And I know them both well. And I always am like, wait, fuck, which one's your name?
Dude, maybe... I've used this line many times about who should write the book about Barstool. I want a Elio book. That's not the book of Barstool, but it's the book of Mr. Rice and Elio. He's just on a magic fucking carpet ride. And then he goes home and he has like 9 girls, right? He has like 9 daughters who he's like always doing shit with, but then like he stays up late in his underpants watching the hockey games and gambling Dave's money.
It's unreal. We had so we had gone to our table and we'd sat down and then we got up.
And Elio's there.
Elio's with us, yeah.
So he just hitched a ride?
Yeah.
Like Dave got a +1 and took Elio?
I think Dave got a +5 or whatever.
Okay, and Elio was one. Got it. That's hilarious.
And so we all sat down, and then we heard word that we might be able to get a Brady picture. So we got back up and went. There was like a little pre-party in the tent kind of deal. Mm-hmm. But Elio stayed seated. And he got back, and at your table, they didn't have food. The food was in the tent, but they just had like little, those cupcakes that come in like 6-packs that everyone has now, the clear plastic thing.
Yeah.
Little mini cupcakes.
Yes.
So they had those. They had those everyone had one at their table, at their seat. And I guess Elio was just sitting there hammering the cupcakes at the table alone. And someone just walked by and goes, "Would you just come for the cupcakes?" I ended up like sitting next to him. And I guess, I don't know why everyone else walked so goddamn fast. Me and Elio just kept falling behind. And just the two of us. Like, I don't know why they're sprinting right now. Yeah, I forgot what I was saying, but he's the fucking man.
But so you parked at the McDonald's and the parking pass.
Yeah. So we picked them up there, and then we were just going to pick them up, and then while we were there, we were like, let's just park here and then walk in. It ended up being a little further than I think we thought. But
Yeah. Whitney said that a state trooper texted him and was like, "Your boy's at the Tom Brady thing tonight, right?" And he's like, "Yeah." And he's like, "Why did I see him along Route 1 trying to wave down an Uber?"
That wasn't true. Yeah. That was, we had a car. We were going to a car.
He was like, Dave was like, "That was not true. We had a car. It was parked at McDonald's on 1.5 miles away." So that's the one thing going on in the Barstool universe.
One thing I want to say, 2 things I want to say. I called my dad after, and I was like, it was amazing. It was so cool. It is a little weird, like, now for me, because Tom Brady's 48, something like that.
You're not a kid anymore.
I'm 35.
Yeah.
Like, it's not that weird for a 48 and a 35-year-old to be like, I don't want to use the word peer because I'm obviously not his peer, but like, it wouldn't be that weird if we worked in the same office and we hung out.
Right.
Like, that's
right. It's a little different now.
It's a little weird, but I mean,
I've always said, like, once you're like over 30 and then 35-ish, everybody's the same age.
Right.
You know.
So it's weird now to have, like, I saw the pictures of like what I looked like.
Yeah, you were in a Halloween costume.
and everyone kept saying, "Hey, let me finish them first." I was just like, I had such a glow. I was looking at but it's so weird now. But when I started liking him, I was 11 and he was 24 or whatever. That's a huge age gap.
Huge.
Now it's just like, now it's weird. Like, why do you love this guy like you're a kid? Like, I don't know. It's when I started and it's just not changing, it seems. It feels like I'm not maturing in this area of my life. I don't know what else to tell you.
Yeah, it's like this one thing where I also think it's allowed. It's the one area where it's allowed. At one point, Dave said, listen, I don't worship other adult men. And I was like, you don't? Wait, what now? I mean, but you know, it's.
I gotta.
If
Tom
anybody
Brady,
else did this, that would be insane.
Yeah.
But you gotta do it. It's a great
It was-
shot. You know what? Somehow you look younger. You like aged down for this event. You time traveled. It's a great shot.
It was crazy. It was. I mean, being in his presence gave me a pregnancy glow. Like I might be pregnant now because I met Tom Brady. And he didn't fuck me. He was just there, and it just changed everything about me. And then 2 other things. Oh yeah, one, people kept being like, "You guys are in the same outfits. This is crazy." Now I will admit that I did get I was in the same exact outfit in the sense that I had a blue sweatshirt tied around my waist. I went and bought blue Chuck Taylors that I didn't have. I went and bought black socks that I didn't have. I was in the full outfit, so they were right. However, at the same time, I was like, it's a Brady jersey. There's a million people here in this costume.
Yeah, that is true.
It's like, whoa, you got the same outfit on. It's a Brady jersey.
Ah, but you got the eye black. You got the bandanas. You know, Gaz did like the full. Gaz almost went blackface again.
Gaz had said that. He's like, I'm a little off blackface. Or black, well, whatever he said. I don't know. But I called my dad after, and I was like, I was talking about it, and he's like, it's such a great night, yada, yada, yada. And I was like, it was amazing. Met all these cool people. I was like, do you know who I met? And they were just so cool. Like, it was great. Like, they oozed cool. And he's like, who? It's like John Bon Jovi. He's like, oh, you fucking think John Henry? He's like, you think one of the greatest rock stars of all time was cool? It's like, yeah, well, now that you're saying it, yeah, you're right. But it was.
Well, but we, he probably thinks of him as like one of those all-time rock stars. He like lived right through his prime and everything. For us, I can understand you being like, he's even cooler than I thought. But yeah,
he was like Walton Goggins cool, where he was so nice and so down to earth.
Yeah.
But you were still like, but you're not like me. Like, it wasn't like he's a regular guy. Like, no, you're different.
You got that it factor. Yeah. He got the look with the hair. Oh, is that Zoe?
Yeah.
That's a great shot. Because you know what? Yours, maybe you had a jersey, but like, there's every chance that Dave doesn't have that vest anymore.
That's Hank's vest, yeah.
Or whatever, like that. It was cool that you guys were able to recreate it like almost entirely. So that's the one big thing going on in the Barstool universe.
I had my cousin text me. Probably the greatest line I've ever heard afterwards. He goes, honestly, at this point, for voluntary arrests, it's 1 Rosa Parks, 2 you guys.
It's certainly in the Boston area. I can tell you in the Boston area, they care about one way more than the other. I mean, it's really, it's one thing, with Dave becoming who he is, but like for Gaz and Hank, and then you to some extent too. Like, there's millions, or I don't know, maybe hundreds of thousands based on what we just did a Google search for, of guys who like would kill to be you guys. Just be like, we are, we live and die for this guy, but these guys are, Tom Brady knows them and respects them, and like you said, intertwines his career with them.
He chose to mention us in his Hall of Fame induction speech. Like, we are inseparable now. Yeah. He made that decision to make us inseparable.
It's cool. He always did rep you guys, but he had to like tweet and delete, and he couldn't say too much. And now that it's all over, he, like, you can tell he really fucking appreciated it. That means when it was happening, he was like behind closed doors being like, "Fuck yeah, these guys are awesome." I'm surprised he didn't like send you guys shit and fucking, really hook you up. Heroes. Scott Zolak. Heroes. Rico Bosco and the basketball saga is
wait. We're going to get on that 1 second. One more thing I want to say is the funniest part of last night. I'm going to try and do it right. I don't know if I can do it because mine's on too tight. Instead of a polo, imagine this is a button-down shirt.
Uh-huh. Somebody wore their wristband like
this is how Gronk had it. he had a sport coat on, but then when he was talking, it kept falling out, and I was just like, That looks like something a kid would do. It was killing me. It was above the cuff on his button-down shirt. I was in the seat fucking dying. I don't know why I just like looked so funny.
The logic behind that. Did you put those on or someone put them on you?
No, you put them on yourself.
Yeah. So like he just like slid it on his hold it was like that's right.
I don't know where this
That's
goes.
correct.
Over the jacket, that'd look crazy. I'll put it over my cuff.
The jacket would be nuts.
Everything he's the best.
I'll do my
He's
button
the
down.
best. But I'm sorry. I'm done now.
Oh man.
What about Rico?
Rico and the Barstool basketball saga. Dude, him in the sling talking with his hands is so funny. This dude, Gus, is a psychopath. Like doing that on a basketball court, you have no regard for anybody's life.
Yeah.
If Rico, like I mean, his face smashed into the ground, but he obviously fell on his arm too. If his head hits first, he's like walking away paralyzed. I mean, that move. You watched it, right, Pavs? Did you see the actual move? I mean, like,
It was insane.
It's like the one thing rational humans, like, you know, like Draymond Green won't do that to you. You know what I mean? Like dirty guys still know that when you're in the air, you don't just like scoot underneath it. You can't play sports when you really don't like each other. And there's enough not liking each other at Barstool. You know, like these guys up in the Minahan world feel like they get like left out, and there's New York versus Chicago, and there's these rivalries with this guy and that guy. When you get on the court or any sort of athletic shit, it gets too chippy. You know what I mean? Like it's not just like, hey, let's get your side versus my side and play some hoops. It's like we don't like each other, and if I get a chance to, I'm gonna fucking hurt you. He also nailed somebody last week on a breakaway. He just shoved him in the back. So that guy, I don't know what he is. I'm assuming a producer or something. If that arm does not get down there, man, that is like broken face, concussion. I'm really surprised he didn't just straight up punch him in the face. I guess he tried to. Yeah.
I don't know basketball well enough to speak on this, but I'm kind of on Gus's side.
No, it's just no. It's
So
just no.
I'd have to know what the equivalent is in other sports.
Yeah.
Because I'm on record here for saying, like, when we're playing sports,
Yeah, you hurt people.
I want to hurt you.
Yeah, that's true.
I-
So that's yeah.
I don't want to. I think it's so dumb now. Like I'm probably not gonna do cheap shot again. I'd have to know what the equivalent is in hockey.
Yeah, like what's like fucking Todd Bertuzzi. Fucking.
Well, that's extreme. But like,
But it's
I slew-footed people all the fucking time. I didn't give a shit. Like if this is comparable to a slew foot, I'll slew foot you. I don't care.
That's when you step on someone with their skate.
No, I kick out your feet from behind.
I don't even think that's what's. I think it's probably when you shove someone's head into the boards. Isn't that like they're like getting the puck from behind and you fucking cross check them into the board?
I do that. Yeah, for sure. For sure.
You're a psychopath. You should not play sports ever again.
I don't do it now anymore.
Well, that's what's insane.
When we're doing field day, but I don't know if we were playing a hockey game against like Kirk Minahan, I'd probably do something like this. Like when we're doing field day and shit like that, that's all fun. But like in this, I'd probably try and hurt you.
Where are you at your most vulnerable in hockey?
Probably a slew foot.
And that's the question there. Asked and answered. Because like you can see, Rico's going up, and you see him scoot under, and it's like I'm gonna try to get underneath this person while they're in the air. That is like you are going to land. You're gonna go like ass up, and you're gonna land on your head or your neck or your spine. Your
Basketball
face.
is different because it's not a contact sport. But like, yeah, the only reason I'm hitting someone is to hurt them. You know?
No, but
there's ways to be like a tough guy in basketball and like do cheap shots and like send messages, and that's like in the paint but like that right there, or like in the basketball world would be considered like a pussy.
Yeah, you're a pussy.
Like that's a pussy move.
Yeah,
it's not a tough guy shit. That's not cool.
Slew foot's probably a pussy move too. But the I
think we figured out. I thought we were gonna prove you wrong. I don't think. I think you're on Gus's side. Yes.
I don't want to injure you, but I want you to hurt. And if you get injured in that process, so be it.
Then you are on Gus's side. Yeah. Again, I really thought I was going to convince you of otherwise, but you are on Gus's side. Gus somehow is in a sling too, so they had a sling off. They had a sling off on their show. Rico going hippa hippa with both of his arms is so goddamn funny. Like that move there is if Rico literally turned around and fucking unloaded a haymaker on him, I think anybody that played basketball would be like totally okay, absolutely okay. And that's coming from Rico, who is on his 50 millionth strike. I think it still would have been like that's okay. Rico's allowed to do that in that spot.
You said like the basketball people watching, hockey people listening, probably like, well, he's a fucking lunatic. It wouldn't be. I'll give you an example. I did this every single face-off. It's not quite a slew foot, but like if we're at a face-off, I played wing, and we're standing next to each other. If that's your foot,
hang on, let me stand up.
When the puck dropped, we were standing like this. Puck dropped, I would kick you every time.
Jesus Christ! that's gonna injure you. Or that's gonna make you fall.
It would
goal, fuck you up.
My goal was always to just have you go off balance.
Right.
If you fell, you fell, and if you got hurt, you got hurt. But
you're falling from you're standing on the ground and you fall on your ass.
Yeah,
this is like you're in the air.
The danger of the slew foot is the slam in your head.
Back of your head.
Yeah.
Okay, so that.
No.
Very, very, very illegal. Okay, so that is. But I mean, I guess if you're on skates and you're whoop.
Yeah, I wouldn't do a full kick out. I'd try and hurt you other times. With a slew foot, I was a little more gentle.
This is like you're in the air. And usually you come down on your feet, and now you'll be coming down on your head. So
yeah, it wasn't that clear cut.
Yeah,
but
so it's gravity is pulling you down, and you're going to land on your face and head instead of your the bottom of your feet. But Rico is Rico, and so people are like, I think if Gus did this to somebody else, I think he'd be like fired. It's crazy. It's like, I don't ever want to be near Gus like in any situation because it lets me know that like you just don't have a regard for human life. So
I don't have regard for my own life. What makes you think I'll have regard for yours? You fucking nuts.
That's true. You got to know your opponent. What does Sun Tzu say? You got to know your opponent. And then the last thing is the Beer Olympics, which is right now another Dave Portnoy. He's run this play. This is power sweep. Dave now supporting the Beer Olympics, selling merch, and championing
What is that merch? I saw it.
It's just merch for Dave to be like, I'm supporting the Beer Olympics so much. So.
Like the Olympic rings, but is it the Pittsburgh Steelers logo in it? I didn't really understand the merch. Neither of them played for the Steelers, right?
No, that's not. That's the Olympics.
Yeah,
what are the stars inside?
Oh. I that might have been what Bussin.
I think that's just their way to make it different.
Isn't that what the Steelers logo looks like?
Kinda. They do have those. It's not like exactly those stars. They're bigger stars. It's one star that fills up a circle with three of them. Yeah.
That looks pretty.
Yeah, it's
similar,
pretty similar.
right?
It's pretty similar. I don't know that to me I just thought was the Bussin Beer Games logo in the first place. But I think everybody has their turn where Dave makes a mockery of your thing and then turns it into his thing and you're just like, God damn it. And that's what happened to Slick Willie. You like by association though, like that's become I feel potentially a big showdown in the dozen.
Yes.
Where, like this has nothing to do with the dozen, but it's going to become Will and Dave because they're going at it right now. I don't know if you saw the quote. Your boy said,
I'll slap the shit out
of you, but I'd be charged with elderly abuse. You're a bad leader, and if I saw you, I would slap the shit out of you, but I'd be charged with elderly abuse. So now it's on. And it's, again, one of those things where it's like everybody's laughing and we're on the show, but like deep down there's real issues and fighting. So now if you do face off ZD versus Booze Hounds, is going to mean a lot. Is that? Do we know the matchups, by the way?
No, we wouldn't play ZD until like the finals.
Okay.
Well,
then even more so.
We'll play the Yak game 2.
And that's Dan.
That's Dan.
So
I texted the Booze Ponies today. I say win or lose, we beat the fucking shit out of everyone.
it would be really funny if the Booze Ponies was just like, hey, we beat everybody up. Like you charge the stage and beat up people. You're not even in their match. I mean, it's definitive, right? There's not even a team. There's no other team that could.
No,
in a fight 3-on-3.
So I don't
there's not even like another one guy that would even right.
I imagine Large can tussle. I think it's Jake Marsh.
Does David Andrews still play on a team?
Yeah, he did. That was funny. I saw him last night, and he was saying that they can't. They made the tournament, but they're not going because Andrews like. He didn't know what he was doing. He just kind of like he's like, I'll play some trivia. Who cares? Like I didn't know there's this event at the end. And he's like, I get 3 weeks off a year. It's during one of my off weeks. He said that if Dave got him and Yandel a private jet, they'll go. They'll go for them. And Dave was like, what are you talking about? But yeah, I would take Marty, Yandel, and Andrews over us if it came to that. But
But that's so just. Just beat him up. Like, hey, you want?
I'll say this: that text was well received.
I mean, it would just be like wrestling. You know, it's like just throw him through the tables, throw him through the podiums and shit. Be like, whatever. That's what we came to do.
Yeah. I always say,
baby.
I was talking to Will recently about something completely different, and it was like a roommate I used to have in college, and he was smarter than me, and when we get in fights, he'd win. And
then you just beat him up.
So I would hit him, and he'd be like, he'd get mad. You always do this. You always do this. You just make things physical. Like, well, you're doing the thing you're good at, so I'm gonna do the one I'm good at.
Right? You have a certain set of skills. I have a certain set of skills. Mine hurts you a lot more.
There is still a fucking what do you call it? With the who can eat who? Like
food chain.
Like, there's still a fucking food chain.
And it matters. Yeah. Yep. That's true. It's like in 99% of everyday life, having your brain power probably a better thing. You know, you probably make some more money, have a better job. Get promoted, bonuses, whatever. But if shit hits the fan, mine always plays. When the zombie apocalypse starts, like, you want mine, not yours. Trust me, bro.
That was such a good example of how I'm the dumb one.
Yeah, you couldn't say
what do you call that thing where you can eat the other thing?
I always pick up on when you're trying to explain something.
Yeah, you got the meathead in you, too.
It's the idiot brain.
Yep. You guys have like an unspoken language. It's like Planet of the Apes. They can kind of grunt. They kind of talk. Dig, eat, dig. And he goes, food chain. Caesar, say food chain. Hilarious. I love it. And then was there some? We went to cricket the other day.
Yes, how was that? I was very sad to miss that.
It was awesome.
Yeah,
like
we win.
No, we played. India's the #1 team in the world, and we made it. We made it tight. Like we all went in blind. I meant to like watch like some YouTubes and like learn.
Yeah.
So I knew what I was watching, and I did not do that. So I went in totally blind, and we eventually started to pick up on how it works. It's like, here's how I described it. It's taking baseball and turning it into basketball scoring, and the game itself is like baseball, running bases, and wiffle ball all combined.
But also kind of football scoring with the 6 points.
Yes, there's the 6 points in it. But it was very, so when you have, me and you would be a battering team, if you will.
Uh-huh.
Battery. Meaning I hit, and then we switch spots, and that's a run. So if I hit the ball, and then you run to my wicket, and I run to your wicket, that's one run.
Okay.
But you don't have to run when you hit the ball. So if you hit the ball right at someone, and they can throw the ball at those wickets before you get there, you don't have
hit
to
the
run.
wicket with the ball.
Yeah.
Oof, that's a fucking throw.
Yeah, I think, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that counts as points. It's bad for you.
Right.
Yeah.
So you don't have to run. So that's almost like a foul ball. So there's a lot of times where they just hit the ball at somebody and they just stay put. But then when you like hit it in a gap, they go. So
Like you can keep going?
You can,
Yeah.
but here, let me get to that because there's a problem. The three of us are going to fix USA Olympic cricket. The whole field is a circle. If you hit the ball to there's like a lip, like a little edge around the grass, and if it hits that, you get 4 points. And if it goes over it on the fly, that's a home run worth 6 points. And there was enough of those. It was probably like we didn't we hit a couple. They hit like 3
there was
or
probably
4.
10 total.
Yeah.
Or 8.
So there's enough moments where it's like, oh, like home run. And this is called T20. So that means 20 innings basically. But you can also end the game by getting 8 wickets. And a wicket is if you bowl the ball and they swing and miss it and it hits it, that's like 3 strikes.
Right.
In 1 shot, you're out. If you catch a fly ball, that's one of them. And if they throw the ball and it hits the wicket and knocks, the wicket is 3 stumps, and then it has these 2 things on top of it. And if those fall, it's like an out. And then there's a couple other ways that you can get wickets. And if you get to 8 of those, the game's just like over. You win. So I think you have to have more points in them, but it just ends their chances. So you have these moments where like a fly ball is like a huge fucking deal. The crowd's like, oh, and like we dropped one, and it was like, oh my God. So like we picked up on all that. And the real when I really picked up on it was you do all your batting first. You don't go back and forth in innings. You go all your 20 innings. So we scored 110 points. So India took the field on offense.
Down 100-0.
Yeah, but they're like, we just have to get to 111.
Okay.
And so the whole thing for us felt like one gigantic bottom of the 9th where you need to hold on with 110 runs. So they have up on the scoreboard points needed to win versus number of pitches left. So if you need a lot of points and there's only few pitches left, USA is winning the game. But if it switches, that means India's ahead. So that's the number to watch, right? And it got down to like they need 30 runs with like 25 pitches left. And I was like, this like it's pretty close. Yeah. And then Team USA got a 5-point penalty for not switching. Like you have 60 seconds to like change your defense or whatever, and they just like took their sweet time and got hit with a 5-point penalty, and then a guy hit a 6-point home run, and it was just like, see you fucking later. And I was like, oh, this is I've known this feeling. This is just a new sport to a new team to feel like the fucking assholes. But when you asked if they can run more than once, you can, and it's very rare that it happens. And I don't know, maybe this sounds like when somebody hits a ground ball to second and they just jog down the baseline because like I'm out.
Yeah.
You know? And we as baseball fans know that. But if you were to watch it, you'd be like, these guys aren't even trying. Mm-hmm. Maybe it's like that. But there was a lot of times where I was like, it's not that far of a distance. It's like if you bust your ass, I think you should be running and like diving over the line. Yeah. And you could get doubles basically and triples, however many times you run, that would be the equivalent. And it felt like, you hit a ball in the gap and you stop at first base. It's like, that was a double, dude. And I don't know if that's because it like is still rooted in like a gentleman's game where it's like, you don't try to get me out and I won't take an extra base or whatever. Yeah. But bro, it's the World Cup. Like, let's fucking go. Like you don't have to know the sport to know hustle. And all of us were watching like a ball hitting the gap and they were kind of like just jogging over to get it. I was like, get the fucking ball and throw it in. But, also at the same time, these guys are like Uber drivers and IT guys. So it's like, I'm not that fast. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not a fucking... I can't tell. I can't tell if we have like world-class players or, I guess on some level we do. We beat Pakistan. We were hanging with India for a while. If we beat Ireland, we'll be into the second round of the World Cup. So they're good. They're good. But I'm like, there was I guess you have to remember they're playing with no glove. So if you play the outfield with no gloves,
it's a hard ball.
Yeah, it's like a baseball. So like this guy, I don't know if I deleted it from my phone or not. This guy made like a jumping catch, and it was a big moment. And I certainly would probably spaz out while doing it. But when I watched it back, I was kind of like, I was kind of like, well, it's not like Ken Griffey Jr. out there.
Oh yeah. I saw that one.
It's like I certainly couldn't do that, but it was like he just kind of caught it and rolled over, and it was like, oh my god,
You're like this high off the ground.
Yeah. That was Phil Mickelson at the Masters.
Yes. Yeah. So that was the game, the sport. I like legitimately I will if I can. I will watch the Friday match on with Ireland.
Yeah.
I actually liked it.
I will also
and I'm never that guy. I'm never like lacrosse is the sport of the future.
Yeah.
Or we're gonna be a soccer country one day. I don't know how much this is gonna catch on, but if I took an interest in it, I think if most people just got to watch it, they would be down with it too. But the on the field is one thing. The rest of the experience was wild. I mean, we went to a foreign country for the afternoon. It was in Nassau County. We were in India.
Really?
We were in India. And maybe there's also Pakistani and Sri Lankan and whatever else, but like brown people. We were the only white people.
Really?
The only white people I saw were firefighters and policemen and like military who were there to like do security.
Yeah.
Maybe we walked past. There was one white guy as I was walking down who said KFC, and he was a stoolie. And then we passed those three guys coming out of the stadium. Like that was it. I'm really not exaggerating. I was looking through some of the videos I took, like looking in the crowd, like none. And even like the food is all halal, and like there was hot dogs.
You probably got some good fucking halal there.
I'm sure it was good if you like that food. The only like American stuff was a soft pretzel and a hot dog, and the rest was like even like the French fries were done like Indian style because of course.
Yeah.
It's like if you had a bunch of shit that they don't eat, the concessions wouldn't make any money. I don't know if this is a thing in general or it's just the World Cup. I've always known this about Asian people with photography. The amount of pictures that these Indian people took was unbelievable. We sat, stupid me, I thought I wanted to get the front row of the higher level.
Yeah.
Usually I think that's a good seat, you know?
For sure.
But it also meant that people wanted to take pictures with the pitch as the backdrop. You walk down the stairs and take a picture there. And when I tell you, I sat on the aisle. When I tell you it was an endless parade of just people taking pictures and like kind of like sitting on my shoulder. I was kind of like this. I'm not kidding. It stopped. And the only time it stopped was there was this big black security guard with dreads and like a grill, and he kept being like, "Sit the fuck down. You're not allowed to do this." Otherwise, did you notice they all were sharing signs?
Yeah.
That was crazy.
Yeah.
Like one person made a sign that said American by address but Indian by heart. And they all used that sign. I think they were like you can have it next. So it was
that reminds me of the Shohei Ohtani ball. When Shohei played in Japan last year, and Shohei had a home run, and the whole crowd just passed the ball around.
Yes.
And then got it back to the person who did it, but like they just passed around and take a picture.
I think that was what. And then there was another one that said, "My boss thinks that I'm sick today. Rohit, make it worth it," or something like that. And Rohit was like the star of the Indian team, and they all took a picture with that, and they all had American flags and Indian flags. It was kind of weird because it was like everybody was cheering for everything because it was either like you're rooting for India because you're from India, or you live in America and you like it here, so you also root for these guys. So it was just it was a wild cultural experience though. The pictures were just. I mean, I was trying to get. I'll look at my phone and see if I have enough. I didn't want to be an asshole like videoing these random people all day, but I mean, I could probably put together a compilation of just like 100 people like sitting on top of my head, just holding a flag
Marshall in the background, just like, you cannot do that.
Looking right at him at the very end goes, "We're not sitting on the stairs, guys," because when we first showed up, we had the first front row. And somebody was sitting there, and I was like, "Oh, do I have the wrong section?" And they were like, "No, it's yours. You're good." And they were like, "Can we just take pictures before you go?" It was just, they saw the 4 seats and took them. We didn't get there that late though. Like we got there pretty quickly.
5 minutes in.
But and then the funniest thing was the end after the game. We get up and leave. Like right as the game is ending, because I was like, I want to beat this rush because this is gonna be madness. We're gonna end up like those trains in India where people are hanging off the fucking sides. So I had driven, they took the train, and I had like a VIP pass that was like right next to the stadium. So I was like, all right, I'm going this way. You guys got to go that way. They go on their walk. They had to take a shuttle to get to the train station. They had to do a million things. They can describe that in a second. I remember being like really close to an exit. Like it was like, oh, right there. But they just built this stadium, so it's not like when you go to a state like Giant Stadium ushers can be like, oh, you got to go to gate D around this way. Yeah. These are people just like working for like a weekend, so they were like, I don't fucking know where anything is, and they ended up herding me into one main exit when I'm pretty sure I could have gone out of like a VIP exit, and I literally there was a line like the security line that you usually go into. I was crossing back the other way, and I took like one step over the line. And then I turned around and I was like, where is the Lannon parking lot? And this guy was like, oh, it's like the other side of the stadium. You went the wrong way. And I turned around and they were like, no re-entry. And I was literally like on this side of the line. And they were like, nope, can't do it. And security there was the whole thing with India and Pakistan where they thought there was going to be like a bomb threat. So there was like fucking AR-15 military guys. They had the Mack trucks out. So there was no, terrorist truck drivers. It was pretty intense security. So I started to be like, no, I'm going back that way. And there was enough of like a hubbub that I was like, okay. Yeah. So now I'm herded out onto Merrick Avenue. I think it's Merrick Avenue, is it? Yeah. Merrick Avenue, Long Island. It's one of these major roads. And I have to walk like probably 1.5 miles to the fucking McDonald's. And as I'm doing it, I mean, there's these barriers that just keep blocking me off from cutting where I need to get to. And as I'm walking, there's a cop along the way, and I go, "Where's the Lannon parking lot?" And he's like, "Bro, it's like in the stadium. Where? Like, what are you doing?" And I was like, "These people herded me out the wrong way." And he goes, "Okay, get to the corner where the cops are. They'll let you in, but you have to have your parking pass." And as I was walking out of the stadium, I knew I was on like 2%. And I was taking pictures and videos all day, and I was like, I should stop because I might need my phone. And then I was like, I have my charger in the car. I'll be fine. The one time I get to the spot, and the woman goes, "Let me see your pass." And I go, "All right, I got to do this fast, though. I know I have like 0.5%. So I'm going to open it up and try to get there and try to show it to you." And she's like, "Okay, let's do it." Totally dead. didn't even get 1 second. And I think one of the other cops recognized me and talked to like his guy, and he was like, "Yeah, go ahead. Like, you're fucking 2 miles away, but like, good luck." And he goes, "Just walk on the side of the road, on the grass, so you don't get waffled." So I start walking, and I'm like sweating, and I'm like looking for the stadium, and I turn around. And I see these 3 idiots coming the other way. They're 1.5 miles away from where they need to be. They went to like where the cars were, and I went to where the trains were. And I literally was scanning, and I see these 3. And I was like, well, fancy seeing you guys here. Jackie said she thought it was a mirage.
We have been walking for legitimately like.
They just found me on the side of the road.
Kevin just goes, "Oh, how crazy is this?"
I couldn't believe it. If I had I wish I had my phone ready because I was just going to start filming them. I was like, I know those 3 people. They're the only 3 other. Everyone else is going where they need to go. There's 4 fucking white people in the whole stadium, and they don't know where they're going.
Like a minute before we saw you, I was like, because cars were passing, it was the only way to get out. I was like, you think Kevin would have stopped for us, right? Like Jack was like, yeah, he would have stopped for us. And then a minute later, just like,
I'm not even out of my car. And then I'm like, I was like, all right, like I'll see you guys later. Like good luck on your journey, and hopefully I survive mine. And a golf cart comes zipping by, and Pavs like hailed it down. He was like, "No, can you take this guy?" And I jump in, and he was kind of, I was like, "Can you take me to the Lannon parking lot?" He was like, "Yeah, I'm actually going right there." And then as we were driving, he kept giving me one of these. He was like a young kid, and he put it all together, and so he was like happy. He drove me like right to my fucking the door of my car. And I actually was gonna try to go find you guys, but they funneled me out.
Yeah,
like,
we just found the speedway and just sat out there.
Yeah. It was when I found these 3, I couldn't believe it. At the same time, I totally could.
You like just alone, like in the middle of a field.
Yeah,
And you just go, "Well, how crazy is that?"
It wasn't like, "Hey guys," it was, "Well, how crazy is that?"
I was like, "Is that real?"
Yeah, we both were like, there's no sidewalks, there's no walking where we were all walking. I was like, we probably looked we didn't know the sport. I'm YouTubing the games. I'm sure the people who sat behind us, because the whole time we're turning around going, I think that guy should have done this and that. And they were probably like rolling their eyes. We can't find our way home. We were just, we were the fucking worst at cricket, man.
But worth it.
But worth it. So worth it. So worth it. So worth it. Shout out to Gametime. They made it happen. It was like one of the hottest tickets in New York City. I think, some tickets were going for like $3,000. So thank you so much for that. I highly recommend going to it if you can go. And if we beat Ireland, I'm pretty sure we're through to the Super 8. So hopefully we have more cricket to come. Gametime, the official ticketing partner of Barstool Sports. Team USA Cricket is officially on to the next round. Jackie, maybe we're going to fly down to the Caribbean and check out. Maybe we'll get Gametime to give us tickets to the West Indies, because we are officially moving on at the T20 World Cup of Cricket. We were in the first round in Nassau County, Long Island, because of Gametime. They hooked us up with 4 tickets right there on the front row. It was one of the most electric sporting events I've ever been to. A whole new experience. So I recommend you try doing something new, whether it's sports, music, comedy, theater, musicals, anything that is live entertainment. Gametime can get you the best tickets. Now, best tickets might mean the front row and courtside and right up against the stage. Or it can mean they're getting you the nosebleeds for the cheapest possible, whichever way you want to go. But they will be the best tickets available at the best price available. They have different sales. Some of them are flash discounts where certain events are all of a sudden on sale. Some of them are zone discounts where different areas geographically have sales. No matter what, they have their lowest price guarantee, meaning if you go to another outlet or another app and you find a ticket price that is lower than Gametime's, they'll give you 110% of the difference of the cost of the 2 tickets. It's the best place for last-minute tickets with up to almost 60% off your favorite events. So what are you waiting for? Go buy your tickets today from Gametime. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Gametime. Download the Gametime app, create an account, use code KFC, and get $20 off your first purchase. That's the Gametime app, code KFC, $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Download the Gametime app today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. We'll get into our voicemails now, but while we pull them up, I got some feedback on Jackie snapping the rubber band and how she's just like a pure psychopath for having no remorse. And Aria, who used to work for us, said the type of girl who would just walk onto a bus and chop somebody's head off with no remorse. That's the feedback I'm getting on your rubber band behavior. He learned.
I had a flashback, but the one from yesterday was really bad last night.
I don't know why do yours hurt and like bruise up so bad.
I think I'm just soft. I sort of
but why? What does she have? Rhino skin?
I don't know.
Like, why doesn't her?
Don't make another.
It just doesn't affect her. And I think I would get like welts too. When you get hit with a rubber band, you get a welt. Maybe I don't know. You probably have rhino skin too.
No.
Nothing.
When I tell you,
this is tight. How high?
As high as it goes.
Yeah, it doesn't hurt.
Maybe the inside of your wrist was bruised.
You think it is the inside of the
wrist? I feel like if you hit the inside of my wrist with a rubber band, it would fucking welt up. And whether or not it hurts, usually you get like a physical reaction. Yeah. Just nothing on Jackie. And Pav's his wrist is falling off. I think I'm just
drew blood yesterday.
Yeah. You can't control if you bleed.
I do feel bad, but I don't regret it.
Yeah, I'm. This is not going to shock anyone after our talk 10 minutes ago. I'm with Jackie here.
Exactly. We'll fuck people up.
Psychos.
Don't wear something I can hurt you with if you don't want to get hurt.
Well, that's she just said. She kept saying, "Stop wearing rubber bands." It's a valid point. I don't know what you guys are doing. He's got the bats. You're just doing it.
Bats? Yeah, it's like, okay, nerd, shut up.
Boys, quick story time. I'm about 17 years old. With my family, having Thanksgiving dinner, my mom, my siblings.
Wait, currently?
You can't be.
As we're passing around this gross-ass food, my mom just looks up and says, "Oh, so Kevin's sexually active." I'm Kevin. And to which I replied, "What?" Which I don't think I've ever made that noise before or after that moment. And she said, "Oh, yeah, I heard him on the phone saying did this and that." And my natural inclination was to take a butter knife and to slice my throat and just get it all over the fucking yams. But I didn't. Didn't ruin the holiday. I didn't want my family thinking about me eating ass as we're about to go fucking
Well, you didn't have to take
dig stuffing out of the ass of a turkey. So I kept it cordial. And yeah, she just blew up my spot. It was the most awkward experience by far. And so my question is, have you ever had a family gathering or just even a social setting where someone just blew up your spot completely with random acts of violence?
I mean,
Love you, boys.
Love you too, Kev.
I don't, I don't know if it's like an Irish thing. I mean, we don't talk about like anything like that when we're all together.
As far as my parents know, I am not sexually active.
right. Like,
which
I got a couple kids, and they're like, I still don't think so.
Him saying that reminds me of one of my favorite Sunny lines. When Gail the snail is fighting with her mom. She's like, you can't tell me what to do anymore, Mom. I'm sexually active now. She goes, you're 32 years old. You're supposed to be sexually active.
Yeah, 17's a different story when you're, are you or are you not? You get that announced to the fucking Thanksgiving table. As a guy, it's kind of like, goddamn right, Mom. I can't. I got nothing that even remotely compares.
I've never had it blow up like that at a family gathering, but this is actually, I think, one of the like cornerstones of who I am as a person. Like one of the like what do you call them? Like
watershed
foundational
moments,
event or whatever.
Core
it is.
memories.
Core memory. What I don't really know.
Change your life forever.
But food chain. And but like I remember I was probably 15, 16 years old.
Canon event,
sure. I was in the bathroom upstairs in my sister's bedroom. She had like the master bedroom upstairs, and we all had to use her bathroom. And I was like, I had the shower running, and I was talking to my buddy about a party we had, and then I opened the door to grab a towel, and my mom was just standing in the doorway, and she's like, heard all that. And like we were talking about drinking and like nothing sexual, but just like talking about drinking and partying and all that stuff at way too young an age. And from that moment on, I like stopped speaking out loud in public. Like, I've said that like I'm only talking to a microphone when I know. Like I won't talk. I don't like talking in cabs. I don't like talking in Ubers. I don't like talking like in earsight.
That's how I am without that event though. It's like I don't want anybody hearing any of my shit. Nobody knows any of my business. I don't like that unless I tell you. Everybody knows all my business because I told you my business. But nothing going forward. Do you guys have anything?
No. I mean, I've told the story of like, no.
What story?
No, the story of like with like my ex in high school and the cop.
Oh yeah, I remember.
Whatever.
Pray tell, I don't remember.
Okay, so, my ex from high school, our moms were friends, and they like played tennis together all the time, and so then we started talking. I obviously didn't tell my mom or whatever. And like, I like kind of like snuck around.
How old
like,
are you?
16, 17. And basically like, they had heard like nothing. And so then I went to go hang out with him, and we had just like gone to like an obvious hookup spot. And we're like, just like hooking up in the car. And like a cop walks in, like, in like not a good time, like rips the door open, and I was like, he was like, you can't park here, and he was like, you guys are underage and it's past curfew. So then he had to call. We both had to call our parents and explain. Like the cop was such a fucking narc and made us like explain like where we are, what we're doing here. Like I was like, do I have to explain? And we were just looking at the sunset, and it was like I had gone out at like way past sunset, and so like it was like there was no way to be
we're
like,
rounding third base.
So he sat there or stood there and tell her what
that feels like a cake,
which was so weird.
Right.
I remember, and, like,
so I'm topping this guy off, Mom, and
I like didn't have like he like didn't like be like, oh sorry.
Yeah, no,
like,
he
just
wanted
was,
to like hear that.
Yeah, it was like weird.
That's a creep.
And so then I like called my mom. I was like, yeah, we're like just it's a nice lookout spot, and we just wanted to look out.
So you guys actually had like a make out point, like you drive to the top of a cliff and fucking fool around?
Yeah.
I don't think that. Did you have that?
I mean, I had. Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah,
Girls
I
used
mean,
to
like-
just suck dick in the woods where I came from. But we didn't have a nice spot.
It
but-
was I had a spot.
Yeah.
I had a
but
spot.
But like you had a spot or like the school had a spot?
I think people knew about it. I for sure had a spot. I don't know.
And it was like
Like it wasn't
a
like you see in the
scenic-
movies where there's
Well, that's what I mean, though.
10
This
cars and
sounds
everyone's
like
fucking
a-
in every car.
like a cliff or something? Like
Yeah,
you
it
can
was-
see the sunset?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, this was Fort Adams in Newport. Fort Adams, you can go up there and
Finger
you
a
fuck
girl.
in the back seat. Bro, can you imagine that now? I don't know. You're still probably young enough. You are
Thank you.
my guy right here. Can you imagine fucking in the back seat of a car right now?
I told you. I only have sex in beds.
Only about I'm with you 99.9%. But in a car, like,
In a
I can
car?
fuck on a couch. I can fuck on a ground
I
if
can't
it's
fuck on a
rugged.
couch.
The
I definitely can't fuck on the ground.
But the idea of
In a
I can't,
car?
Kevin, I can't fit in a back seat
I
anymore.
can't sit in a car. Imagine another
I used to
being.
have sex in a back seat.
It's crazy. like I could maybe sit and have someone on my lap, but if we're talking like I'm doing anything,
Oh,
like
I
a
was
leg
almost on
up
top
and, like,
exclusively. I've only dated lazy women, I think. Well, you can do whatever you
Well,
want to
there's
me.
a
Like,
lot of
you know what
lazy
I
ones.
want to do to you? You fuck me.
Well, that's. I feel like being good in bed as a chick, you can like obviously like give good head or have like a good ride game, but being good in bed as a chick just means I let you do stuff to me. Really, right? It's just like don't say no to stuff. That's what being good in bed is as a girl. You can just fucking lay there as a girl and still be good at bed.
Yeah, you're a dead fish, sure.
Yeah,
All right.
just be a dead fish that I can do all sorts of stuff to.
I was thinking about that after our last episode when we talked about how we have to do marketing for men because we're all so ugly, and I was thinking about it more and like the only marketing we have as men for women is like, but crazy chicks fucking fuck, dude.
Yeah.
My experience, not really. Like there's not a demonstrable difference between the sex I have with people I don't think are gonna kill me and people I do.
I don't know if I have enough of a control sample. You know, it's like, well,
I'm sufficient with my research.
Yeah?
It's
about the same.
Sex is sex, dude. It's like,
You don't like sex though. You're weird. I don't think sex is sex because I think there's sex you walk away from that's like, I'll do that again, and then there's sex you're like, we'll like have a fight with the police with this girl and do it again.
I think
that-
I like to fight with the police because I'm the crazy one. I'm like, that was fun.
This episode is, I've been your number one hype man talking about how great everything is, and it's like some things don't change. But that cop, by the way, is a pervert, sexual deviant. Next voicemail.
Hey guys, this is Jillian.
Turn up.
Kevin, I have something to add to your presidential campaign. I know this is something that you are passionate about as well, but there needs to be a minimum ply for all toilet paper because this single ply shit in public bathrooms is just not gonna fly. I can't fucking stand it. 2 ply at a minimum for everyone. Let's go Mets.
I don't hate that.
I would agree.
I think as a country we should have standards in the bathroom.
Yeah.
And like
You gotta have soap. You gotta wash your hands before you return to work. You gotta have locks on the door. You gotta have a mirror that's angled so wheelchair people can see in it. I know that from my uncle at a restaurant, and it was like he's like, I can't open until I get these fucking angled mirrors.
Wait, so they can see what?
Like they can see themselves in the mirror. Or like
Got it. Yeah. I thought you meant like see into the stall. I was like,
No. So like if you wheel up to the sink, you can still see yourself in the mirror. But there are things you legally have to have. Why not that?
I mean, some of these places have like legitimate like tissue paper that you would put like in a gift bag. You know?
Yeah.
We must be the same sex.
Yeah.
But I'm okay with.
But also, like,
if you want you can't control what anybody does at home. If you're poor and you don't want to spend money on toilet paper and you want the 1 ply, fine. But as a society, public places, 2 ply.
Yeah.
You don't need that quilted northern, that one brand.
Yeah.
That is like a washcloth.
Yeah.
That's almost weird. I'm like, is this reusable?
wiping my ass with a sock.
Yeah, I'm like, should I put this in the washing machine? I don't think this is gonna flush. So we don't need that, but I think a good 2 ply is standard.
I've also just skirted this, but I just don't go to the bathroom in public.
Yeah, that's also like if you're shitting enough in public, I guess for girls it's different. But when you is single ply when you pee a big deal? I guess it's not great to just have to rub your cooch real quick, but like it's not that big of a deal. So if you're shitting enough in public that you're like, God, it's another 1-ply, you're probably shitting too much in public. So just go home. Poop at home.
Eat healthy.
Yeah, right.
Or unhealthy. I eat unhealthy. I don't poop.
Yeah, I was going to say, don't be regular and you won't have this problem. Yeah. Listen, it's summertime. Your kids are not in school. You're scrambling to have something for them to do. And more importantly, now you got to work those meals in. You got to make breakfast, lunch, and dinner all day, every day for these kids. Am I right? It's like they want to eat every day. What's up with that? Your kids have to eat meals every single day, and I've got to cook them. What better way for you and the family to start eating different meals, start eating healthy meals, learn how to cook a little bit with the kids maybe? HelloFresh is the way to go. They've got a whole new summer menu with all sorts of different choices. They have, it's like 50 different meals with 60 different sides. So the combinations are absolutely endless. And if you're looking to get that summer bod going, they have the Fit and Wholesome recipes, which is chock full of fresh produce and all under 650 calories per serving. So whether you're trying to feed the family or whether you're single and you just want to have your meals ready to go, you don't have to shop, you don't have to know how to cook, or whether you're looking to get that summer bod, HelloFresh has something for everybody with meals that come pre-packaged with the recipe card. You don't have to have any experience, and all you got to do is cook for 20 to 30 minutes, and you have yourself home-cooked meals, all sorts of different variety on the menu every single day. Savor the taste of summer with fresh seasonal produce picked at peak ripeness and delivered straight from the farm to your door in less than a week. Go to HelloFresh.com/KFC apps, and you'll get free appetizers for life. That means one appetizer item per box while your subscription is active until the end of time. That's HelloFresh.com/KFC apps, and you'll get appetizers free forever. You're a conspiracy theory guy?
Religion, that's cool. No, I'm joking.
You want to get conspiracy theories, you go to the right place, brother. I actually say that. I say that, but like, are we rolling? Yep. Are you a conspiracy theory guy?
100%.
So I hesitate to say that. Like probably 5, maybe even like 10 years ago now, I would say I was a conspiracy theory guy. Mm-hmm. But then like some wackos started, saying conspiracy theory, and I'm like, there's a difference between me, questioning some things, and you thinking that Hillary Clinton is a lizard. You know what I mean? Like you're kind of giving a bad name to the conspiracy theories.
A lot of people believe the lizard people thing.
I mean, it's
a lot of people. A bit of a stretch.
I would say a little bit.
Yeah.
A little bit. I think there's a difference between like I think aliens are out there, and maybe they've had some sort of impact on human life, and you are a dinosaur lizard. I think there's a gap there. You know?
We were just talking about this the other day. I was with my family this weekend, and my brother brought up the Paul McCartney conspiracy. He died,
and they swapped in that guy.
Yeah, that one's again.
But like,
so many people actually believe that, though. That's the wild part.
I don't, believe. What is crazy about that is just how much that guy fucking looked like Paul McCartney.
Yeah. Right.
Like if I met that guy, if I was Paul McCartney, I'd be like, I almost like have to fake my death and use you somehow. Like this is too good to be true.
Yeah.
You ever heard that story about the triplets that met up that didn't know each other?
The documentary. Yeah. I watched it on a plane actually one time.
Unbelievable.
That is crazy. Those guys were from New York, right?
Yes, I think they're like Long Island guys or something. Like that.
Yeah. That was
Westchester or something like that. I mean, can you imagine the like finding a twin would be crazy.
So
and then it happens again. Like I mean, that is unreal.
Triplets. Dude, that's insane. Yeah, I forgot that story. And they're all one of them died, didn't he?
I think there was some sort of tragedy in there.
Yeah.
All
right, good to see you again, man. Thanks for having me on the show.
Jeez, what would you say is the biggest conspiracy theory you believe in?
I don't know, man. I don't want to get off crazy right now and just
let's get nuts, dude.
Put my tinfoil hat on, but I'm not totally against the moon landing, like being a hoax.
I am for sure.
Yeah, I promise I'm not crazy, but I don't know. Like, go ahead. I think. I don't know. Like, I don't know. I don't know. Like, 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 I
So I've spoken when we had our Sirius radio show.
Yeah. I've seen you bring up conspiracies on like Minuteman and stuff.
Yeah.
Like,
So I like to wear the tinfoil hat. I like to at least push people to think about some shit.
Yeah,
I do genuinely believe like everybody in the government and higher people are lying to you like at all times. So I'm like, why not lying about
fact,
this?
in my opinion.
Right.
Yeah.
So like, why not lie about some of the biggest, most important things?
Yeah.
But I spoke to I can't remember his name now, but he was the last astronaut to ever walk on the moon. And
like in person?
No, I was on the phone, but it was on my show.
No way.
And I was like, I've talked about the moon landing so much that there was no way I could talk to an astronaut on the moon and not bring it up.
Yeah.
So I was like, what would you say hypothetically if there was a person who didn't believe we landed on the moon? And he was like, I would say that you are the dumbest person I've ever met in my life.
Seriously?
And I was like, that's what an
a guy
astronaut who's walked on the moon would say. But here's my thing. The footage that we have of like the go-kart type four-wheeler like driving, I'm like,
and the dirt that it kicks up off the tires,
it's all very
the dirt dissolves in the footage, and if you're in space
it wouldn't do that.
It would just float away.
Yeah.
There's no oxygen. So
I'm like, I feel like if today somebody was like, we made it to Mars, like look at this footage, and it looked like that, we'd be like, that shit is fucking fake.
Yeah.
But back then you didn't know, how to and then there's also the thought of like,
but like we haven't been since the
we didn't go
70s,
back,
but we're making iPhones that like track your face and like, I don't know, it just feels like we're
feels a little funny.
Yeah,
they say that there's nothing there, like it's a glorious waste of money and resources to go back, but I'm like,
I don't know.
There's probably some reason.
Yeah, it's fun to think about.
Yeah, that's more where I'm at, where I'm always like,
Yeah.
Kind of questioning, what they tell you. Because here's the thing: you ever seen that pyramid of the conspiracies? It's like almost like the food pyramid, and the bottom,
like the Illuminati, the symbol.
Well, it is. It's
I'm in that,
but
so we gotta keep
it's
that
like
a little hush.
The top is the craziest conspiracy theories, and then there's like four bars, and
like
the bottom
tier
one,
yeah.
and the bottom one is like, these are real. These are rooted in reality. But those are things that people used to say were fucking crazy. It's like MK Ultra and Bohemian Grove and like and Jeffrey Epstein. And it's like, so when these things become true,
do you believe in this Bohemian Grove thing?
I think it's like, yeah.
Have you been seeing the thing? Who's the fighter?
Yeah, that I don't know. Ryan Garcia says that they like showed him and that they're coming for him. I think he is just a wild promoter who just knows that.
Yeah,
like,
and he's also gotten hit in the head a few times.
A billion times.
Yeah, like,
man.
I don't know.
that feels like a situation that's going to be like, I hope people are watching him.
I don't know though if I do like the whole Illuminati. It's funny, like no one's ever really asked me, but just being in the music industry and seeing behind the curtain a few times now, like. It's just a little bit far-fetched in my opinion.
Yeah,
like, it's just, I don't know.
I mean, I do believe that there's like secret society type things.
I do too.
It's just the length that these
selling
things.
Your soul for success and these sort of like these inclinations that like you people are working with the devil. Like I don't know.
The devil
like,
is where I kind of lose it. I can definitely believe that there are people who are like, I'll sell my soul and like pay money and do whatever to be famous. When it's like, we are a devil worshipping cult who drinks blood, I'm like, I don't know about all that.
Yeah.
But I mean, again, these are things that it's like 20 years ago.
A guy who works with the devil would say, by the way.
But 20 years ago, if you told me that, Diddy was this monster,
Dude.
I'd be like, nah, man, that's crazy. And then it comes true. And it's like, between him and Weinstein and R. Kelly and all these things, it's like, well, maybe it's more of the norm than the than the rarity, because it's.
I mean, it's a crazy industry. I will say that. I've been in it for like 10 years now. I still don't really know what's going on, and there's a lot of stuff happening.
Did you have moments where you were like, I'm not going to get this deep into the industry, like avoid certain things, or
truthfully, not really. I feel like I've always kind of like just stuck to my corner of the world, so to speak, and just hung out with the people that I trust and get along with. And I try not to stick too much around like the deep scene of things, because I think for me, I could easily see myself losing my grounding as sort of like who I am and kind of getting carried away a bit. So I think it's best for me just to kind of chill on my
I think that's a good
side
way
of the grass. And
it's a good way to live life, like whatever industry you're in. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Fucking investment banking. You can get into like the weeds with that, you know, or something in entertainment. But
yeah,
I can see where, you know, impressionable people, young people,
oh my gosh,
you know, starving people, you know, insecure people, whatever, just gets swept away, and it's like,
yeah, you're presented with a check with money you've never seen in your life, and you're like, all right, I'll sign this piece of paper and not knowing you're giving away all the rights to your music.
Are you on
stuff.
A major label?
No, not anymore. So
you were, right?
I was, yeah. I was on two major labels and recently just went independent, actually.
And
so
was it one of those like they just had you by the balls for the?
No, you know what? It's like I've never actually really talked about this, but like I think it was just a case of fighting a lot with the trying to swim upstream with all the other. Like, you got to think about this. Record labels have a very long list of clients they work with. Sure. And most of them are, or I would say, like, the upper echelon are very successful. And so if you're not in that top tier of, like, 5 to 10 artists that are really generating a lot of money for that label, it's hard to sort of make your name known and show them that they need to care about you.
Right.
And so for me, it felt like always a struggle to kind of, I don't know, just get their attention in a way.
Yeah.
And I mean, we ended on good terms, but I just think for what I do, it's a very niche situation. Like my fans and everything.
I wouldn't say that though. I mean, like, I don't consider you, you know, like this like underground niche
I'm not
guy,
like Fish or someone who's like, you know, like, but definitely in the sense that I don't have huge radio success, but I've still found a way to garner this fan base of, like, I don't know, very grassroots beginnings, and started at Michigan State and then grew outward and kind of was a word of mouth type situation. Mm-hmm. I mean, I don't even know how you found my music, for example, but like maybe through Cal or someone, but
probably, but I don't know if it was, I don't think anybody was ever like, yo, let me put you on to Quinn 92.
See, that's the thing. I think it doesn't feel forced in my opinion. Yeah. And so while I can like bitch about in my head, like, damn, I wish I was higher up in the world of all this stuff and selling more tickets or whatever, having more success on the records, I'm super grateful that everything has happened so naturally.
Yeah,
because I do think there is a I don't know. I think I would rather be going in this approach than being what the industry calls, or people call an industry plant, where like it's like thrusted down your throat, and you're
now,
like,
wait, there's got to be like, I was actually just thinking about this the other day, because I was thinking about how like I haven't heard much at all from Chance the Rapper in a long time, and he was one of those guys who was called an industry plant.
He's one of my favorite artists.
But like, so I can understand the idea of an industry plant, meaning we like this person's look or sound, and we're just going to put the machine behind them. But is there like...
Well, the irony with Chance is that he was independent for several years. Yeah. So the notion that he's an industry plant doesn't make any sense, because no one was benefiting from it for his success until he then later signed a big record deal when he dropped his like second album or something. But yeah, that...
Like, are there industry plants though that are like... do you believe that there are industry plants that are more like politically motivated or
Speaking
economic
of conspiracies,
or whatever?
This is a very fascinating one for me. I don't really know, honestly. I think there are people who have maybe relatives that are in the industry, or who have people that can kind of open doors for them that other artists don't. Like, for example, I didn't know anyone in the industry. I kind of just had to like make a name for myself, and then they knocked on my door, and then that's what happened. Whereas other people are kind of, you know, again, not by their choice, but just grown into a situation
the
where
Nepo babies.
Right. They're fortunate, and they have a dad or a mom or a cousin or whatever who can, you know, ask a favor or two, and then that helps them get to where they need to go. But at the end of the day, I think like you have to be talented to like sustain your career.
Right.
So whether you're a technically industry plant or not, like I do think, like, especially nowadays, like, the culture dictates so much of what succeeds. Like look at TikTok. Like it's that's why record labels aren't really they're losing their steam right now.
I can't believe they even still have the ground and the power they do,
because it's all about what the people like. So even if you are a quote unquote industry plant, like, you have to still put out good product, because if you don't, like, it's not going to go anywhere.
Right.
Like you can be given all the greatest opportunities, but you got to still deliver. So
have you ever heard the story of? I listened to this podcast series a couple years ago that came out. And it's one of my favorite stories. I can't remember the band or the name of the song right now, but it was during the Cold War. The CIA linked up with this band. I think the song was called like Winds of Change is what it's called. Winds of Change. And they linked up with a band that had a lot of like Russian and European fans, but were in America or something like that.
Were they all girls, or is this a different?
No,
okay,
it wasn't that. But they got them to make a song about like accepting Western culture and like coming together and all that.
Yeah.
But it was like a full-blown CIA operative where they were like, you know, we use pop culture to do this shit too.
For like a political reason.
Yeah,
almost.
right,
Yeah.
right.
Smart,
and so
though.
I was, and the interviews that they did, these guys in the CIA were talking like, they were like, what the shit you see on like Mission Impossible, like we do that. Like rubber, like high level masks and like or like all the things that we think are like movie magic. They're like, that is rooted in truth. So we're doing all that shit, and
that's crazy.
And I'm thinking, you know, when I hear the term industry plant, you know, most of the time I think it's just bullshit, Twitter fucking you know nonsense. But I'm like, why wouldn't these people who are, you know, thinking every single day is life and death with politics and economics and society and all that, why wouldn't they try to utilize?
I think people like to slap that term on artists they see, or not even just artists, but I guess it does pertain mainly to musicians. I don't think I've seen that with like actors or anything. But I think people like to say that when someone who is for all purpose, like someone who like went from
nobody,
being a nobody,
overnight sensation.
And I think no one likes to just admit that, oh, maybe they just caught random luck, or they're that I don't know.
I mean, it's like
that happens all the
it's
time.
Ice Spice. It's it's Sexy Red. It's like it's people that, you know, they deem to be not as talented as others, who all of a sudden get, you know, the keys to the castle.
Right.
And it's like, I don't know, bro. The TikTok loves them.
Yeah.
Like they did something that resonated and you didn't. Sorry.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I mean, I agree that like some of the people who get that label, I don't think are the most talented people in the world, but it's not usually about talent.
Yeah.
You know, there's about talent, but it's about catching a wave or who or luck or whatever. So
I'm friends with Noah Khan, who is now having like major success, and I've seen him be thrown into that conversation, and it's funny seeing someone who has worked his ass off for years. Like I've known him since nothing was going for him, and now like what he's doing, like it's just people just want to throw that out to anyone who's having a bit of
and that's
success.
What's annoying about the overnight success is like it's not overnight, guys. I remember Louis C.K. saying that because he went when he went, he popped like he went from 0 to 100, but he was like, I was at 0 for 30 fucking years. So you guys think, oh, I just heard that guy, and you know, a year later he's on at Madison Square Garden. This is not overnight. This is a 30-year process.
No one gets. Not no one, but a lot of people don't really understand how long. Like Macklemore, for example, was putting out music for like 12 years before that song "Thrift Shop" came out.
Yep.
And then everyone was like, "Who is this?
Where did you come from?" Well, I've been doing it.
He's like, I've had a decade of a career already, you know, and similar with me. Like I've been doing this for nearly 10 years now, and there's people who I'm seeing on Twitter who are like, "Oh, just discovered this dude," and it's crazy. I mean, it's amazing, but it's just nuts to know that there's still so many people out there that have no idea who you are, how long you've been doing this, what your shit sounds like, or but that's exciting though, you know.
Just think, there are new people every day mispronouncing your name.
Dude, don't get me started. I'm
waiting. One day you're gonna have the name change where you're like, I'm just Quinn now.
Trust me, I would love that, but we don't have the rights to the name. I don't know.
You can't just be Quinn.
I don't know if we could or not. I'm looking at my manager over there. Maybe is it too late?
Like Quinn with one N or 3 N's or
maybe now. I think maybe we should look. No, it's gonna be too late now. Now I've embraced the.
We kind of have the same conversation here. This is the worst named podcast in the history of the world. KFC Radio. It is terrible.
I mean, it's straightforward.
Well, it's not though, because first of all, people are all the time like, I thought this was a podcast about chicken. I thought we were going to be eating chicken.
How much do you run it? Have we talked about this?
All the time that happens.
We must have talked about this because we have name issues. Like
yes.
So like,
and then at the time, I started this 12 years ago, and at the time, I listened to a lot of sports radio, so it was like WFAN radio in New York.
Yeah.
So I had this thing going with my initials, so I was just like, KFC Radio. And at that point, podcasts weren't really that big, so radio just kind of meant any audio product.
Yeah.
But then podcasts get big, and people were like, well, is it radio? Oh, it's a podcast, and is it about chicken? And I was like, and
Have they ever like reached like
KFC?
Slapped down the wrist of it?
No, we actually just did a sponsorship deal with them for the first time. I was like, for 10 years, I kept looking at my sales team being like, guys, come on.
When you came up with the name though, did anything in your head be like, this is going to be difficult to.
I mean, it's my initials, so I was I never, if it ever. Actually, the best thing that can
happen. Can't be called like Kevin
get,
Radio. It's just not.
Yeah. Like it just had a ring to it. I also just like named it on a whim, being like, I don't.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll name this tomorrow. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, and then it just kind of stuck.
Yeah.
And then John invented Saturdays Are for the Boys.
Okay. Yeah.
And we had a thought about changing the name of the podcast to For the Boys, and we got in our own heads too much because we were a little bit older, and I was like, Saturdays Are for the Boys is like. Funneling beers and college parties, and if you think you're getting a show about that, and it's two guys who are kind of washed up and like slowing down, I was like that won't be good. Come to learn that like the name for podcasting is just if you have a good hook, the rest doesn't matter. We should have done it. It would have been like so much better for us. Now the time has passed, and now it's almost like there's too much name equity in this to like change it now, so it's a whole thing. But it is
now it's working out. You gotta what is the? Can I ask what the like partnership is? Like, what do you guys? Is it? Like
it was just like a spot, like ad reads and like shit like that.
Got
like,
it. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I would love something more, permanent, but it was just like they're very. We still run into a lot of, and I think this is probably where you have it good. We still run into like brands are so afraid of us to do anything. Yeah. And I feel like we say some shit that's fucked up. We push the envelope. We're a little bit crazy, but there's like so much worse out there, And so totally. Sometimes I think like, we get this tag of like, too risky or whatever, not brand safe, and it's like, I'm not Alex Jones, you know what I mean? I'm not fucking talking about like Sandy Hook or something crazy. It's we're just doing regular stuff. But I feel like you would be. Like your music is like so anybody and everybody can listen to it. You know what I mean?
Thanks, man. Yeah. I appreciate that. It's funny, like playing shows and stuff. I start to realize that as I get older too. Like there's 7-8-year-olds in the front row with their parents, and then you see
college kids getting fucked up.
Jesse over here, my manager, his dad comes to a lot of my shows. He's got gray hair. I see him like clearly sticks out. Like you got like 60-70-year-olds sometimes pulling up, and
is that hard to do a show? Like, is it because it's like if you have like a party crowd, you know how to do your show.
When you see like a kid or something, it does. I do stop in my tracks a little when I'm about to, when I get on stage. I don't know anyone who's seen me in like concert, like. I like to cuss a little bit, and it's not from a standpoint of I don't cuss in person very often, and I mean I do, but like I try not to. Right. But there's something about being on stage and that adrenaline where like the swear words want to come out, and like the first thing I always say is fuck. Like I'm like they'll be like, all right, listen, like because some college shows or festival or like corporate gigs, they're like, you can't swear tonight, so don't go up there and say something that you're gonna regret. And more likely than not, I'm just like, what the fuck's up? Delta Airlines, you gotta do that. So, but no, to your question, like, if I see like a child in the front row, it definitely puts me a little bit more.
Put the kids in the back.
Puts me more on guard. Or if my mom's in the crowd and I'm like, I want to keep it PG or something. Right. But my mom doesn't give a fuck anymore. So
Bespoke Post has their new seasonal lineup of must-have Box of Awesome collections. What it is, Box of Awesome is a box that comes to you every month with carefully chosen gear from the best small brands around the world. We're talking people who are fashionable and who design and are artsy and creative, and they hand pick a bespoke box of accessories and gear and decorations and things of that sort for you to get delivered to you every single month. So if you're a guy who doesn't really know, what to wear when it comes to jewelry or how to decorate a room or what you should put on your desk or how you should have your house, little tchotchkes you should have around your house, Bespoke Post takes care of all of that for you with your Box of Awesome. To get started, go take the quiz at boxofawesome.com, and your answers will help them pick the right box for you. It's a whole bunch of people with good taste, tasteful choices delivered to you every single month, and it's free to join. And they release new items every month across all different categories. So right now you can get a free mystery gift with your first monthly shipment when you go to boxofawesome.com and enter the code KFC Radio. That's boxofawesome.com, code KFC Radio for a free mystery gift with your first monthly shipment. Boxofawesome.com, code KFC Radio. So at this point, I feel like touring is the name of the game.
Touring for me has always been the name of the game. Yeah, which I didn't really expect, but it's I think it's really proven to be the most lucrative aspect of the industry for me, and especially, like I said, for someone who doesn't rely on radio hits and stuff. And
that still really matters. Getting like terrestrial radio play still matters.
Not really,
Right.
but I mean, it does and it doesn't, I guess. I think if you're someone who can't sell tickets, then yes, you need the big records to make some money. But if you can go out there and, you know, make a couple $100,000 a year playing tour or playing shows, you don't really need your songs to blow up. And if you have fans, it's a weird place to live in too, because I say this all the time, there's a lot of these followers like let's say like Instagram followers versus Spotify monthly listeners versus Twitter followers. Like all of these things people I think generally expect to translate, and they don't. Like someone like myself who has 3 million Spotify monthly listeners could, in most cases, sell more tickets than someone who has 10 million, you know, or in certain markets.
Real fans.
Right. And I'm very fortunate. And I don't say that to boast or anything, but I'm just saying it to like, it's so like my brother, I have a twin brother. He's like, dude, you got to get your monthly listeners up. Like I just saw this dude the other day. He's got like 60
first
million.
of all, bro, fuck off. Relax.
Yeah. But
thanks for the support.
Yeah, but a lot of people don't get that. Like your monthly listeners is actually based off of just how many streams like your songs are. Like if you have a song that's absolutely blown up and has 500 million streams, your monthly listener count is gonna look like 40 million. But in reality, 40 million people aren't listening to your music every month.
Day.
Every day. Yeah, it's just this one thing is doing really well. But I think the public sometimes believes that, you know, these things all correlate and translate. But no, it's so I guess all that to say, like, yeah, I try not to get too hung up on numbers anymore, except ticket sales.
Yeah, well, that's got to be there.
Because that really is like the real.
It's similar in my industry where there was I think it was a book called The Long Tail. The idea behind like a curve on a chart, and it's like, you know, if you want to be up at the top, but where the tail gets, you know, really long and low. But if this group of fans are small but rabid, and they all buy T-shirts and they all buy
just
tickets,
cater to that group of people.
And like, you know, you really, I think the book said you need like, if you have like 1,000 people who will always do and buy and whatever, you can have a career, and then you build from there. But like, you can have a billion followers, but have you seen some of the rap tours that are being canceled? Like,
no.
Like it was
because of low ticket sales and stuff?
Yeah, Metro and Metro Boomin and Future went on tour, and
they got canceled.
Like they had arenas on the schedule, and they just like cancel this one, cancel that one. Yeah. J-Lo's canceling tours.
I saw that.
Ticket sales. Like,
I saw that.
It's hard out here. So if you can have, you know, even a few hundred people that always buy it, you can do your thing.
I think the biggest thing I've learned recently is just to, and you kind of touched on it, is just to focus on the people that already fuck with what you're doing, and don't get too wrapped up in who doesn't know
acquiring
you
the new ones.
Exactly. Just make sure those people are happy, and trust that they're either gonna, I always say, like, spread the gospel of Quinn XCII or KFC.
Well, so let me ask you this. I feel we sold out. You know, we sold to this company, and everybody got pretty wealthy, and so I felt like it was hard to still preach that like grassroots sort of thing. You know what I mean?
It's interesting, yeah.
And you know, I think you've had enough success where it's like not the same. Like if you can keep your fans always rabid to the point that they are, every person they meet, they go, "Hi, nice to meet you. My name is blah blah blah. Have you heard about Quinn XCII?"
Sure.
Like, because in the beginning, that's what they do. Every party they put it on.
Yeah.
Every bar they request it. You know, and that's really how it grows.
Yeah.
But then I feel like once you make it, it's like they made it, they're fine. But it's like I got 30 more years of work. I gotta keep this going. You know.
Yeah.
But you can't really like. I don't think you can ever really harness that initial grassroots vibe from your first, 1,000, 5,000, 10,000.
Yeah, it'll never be. Just naturally, it won't ever stay that way. Right. It's like the debut album of everyone is always that one special thing where everyone feels like they just got a piece of you for the first time, and no one else knows.
It's a lifetime of work.
Exactly. Now, and you're right. Now it's like you have more recognition, and it doesn't feel so underground, I guess. But you're right, man. Just again, I try and meet everyone after the shows if I can, like walking to the bus and just shaking hands and taking photos.
Makes a big difference.
And I say that because like most importantly, I want to meet everyone and truly like thank them that they came out and waited after the show just to say hi to me. Like that is so wild, and I'll never be able to really thank everyone that does that. But I know that will go a long way also, and those
Sure.
people will probably want to come back and buy a ticket, and like
I think half the time, for at least for our shows, because we will stay and like literally do a meet and greet with like everybody.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I'm like, I don't even think you guys care about what we do on stage. I think you just want to meet us and take a picture.
yeah. No, and I have no problems with talking to fans and stuff. I even like hate saying the word fans. Like it feels like I'm on this pedestal, and
it's like you're all just people. Who are
really, man, yeah, and it's like
the only same thing, basically.
Yeah, it totally is, and I really respect people that do that with I'm saying again, fans and the people that support them, because it just I don't think enough artists or entertainers, celebrities give.
I think there are two types of people. The ones that recognize that and hold on to that, and even when money and fame or success comes, they still acknowledge that, or the people who are like, thank you, got what I need from you. Like, I'm too big for you, you know?
It's like, why wouldn't you, not just for a moral standpoint of just being a grateful person, but that's going to help your business. Like, it blows my mind that there's some people that don't spend a little extra time, and yeah.
Have you ever seen the show Hacks on HBO?
No.
It's a show about this female comedian who was like real big in like the Vegas residency type shows, and then she kind of like has to find her way in the new comedy world, or whatever, right? And she's this type who's so big that she has like Deborah Con sort of thing. Like everybody goes to support Deborah, and she had to miss it in this latest episode, and this one fan this one employee of hers is so pissed off that she missed it, and he's like, "Can you believe that she?" is out off doing this thing instead. And this one diehard fan was like, he was like, aren't you mad that these other people are now getting her attention when you guys were the original fans?
Yeah.
And he had this monologue, this actor, where he was like, we were just right. We were right about her.
Yeah.
And we should be happy that the rest of the world is finally figuring it out.
Yeah.
And we can't be mad and like gatekeep just because we were first, because they deserve to, get her just as much as we did. We were just right about it in the beginning, and it was like
that's interesting.
A cool way to, because I think most fans do kind of get a little rubbed the wrong way when you do blow up, but it's like
he's not our little secret anymore.
Right.
Yeah.
It's like, well, that's kind of the goal. I don't want to be a secret, guys.
No.
And if you're really my fan and we're all supporting, like, you should want this for me. It was a very cool scene.
That's a really good way of saying it. Is that a current show, by the way?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's awesome.
I want to check that out. But that actually reminds me of the term like selling out. Like, oh man, you sold out, and like. But why wouldn't you like?
That's
selling
the
out
goal.
just means you want to keep succeeding. I guess. Like,
now I can understand the term. Like,
there's different
became somebody we hate, but it's like
your whole personality
I did this
changed,
because I love it, but I did it to make some money. Of
course.
So when the option comes in to do it, to sell it, to sign, we're gonna do it. you know?
Yeah. That term and industry plan, those are fascinating terms to me, because I think selling out is. I remember I had a friend one time say it to me as a joke, and I was like, first of all, dude, I am nowhere near the level of some other people where like that term actually does apply. But like selling out is I mean, like you said, like as long as you're staying the same person and you're not an asshole, like everyone wants to sell out.
Yeah,
like,
totally.
You kidding me? Like,
right. That's the
like,
point of work and business. And what do you think though about like? I think it's so interesting watching Eminem put his single out the other day.
I just heard this, by the way, yesterday. My Uber driver played it for me.
Yeah,
I love it.
Yeah, it's like, it was like, it sounded like Without Me, Real Slim
like
Shady,
Slim Shady,
My Name Is, all that. And to me, I haven't really liked Eminem's albums since Recovery, right? So it's been like 10, 15 years of me not really liking his albums, because he just went the direction he wanted to go, And part of me, same thing with Kanye, the classic. I like the old Kanye instead of the new Kanye, and it's like, I think you have to evolve, but where do you draw the line as far as like, I'm now doing something that my original fans probably fucking hate.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I listen to some of Kanye's music now, and I'm like, I hate this, but I loved it. But he has every right, of course, to make the music he wants to.
Yeah.
And then Eminem at like 50 decided to just be like, fuck it, I'm going back to the old playbook.
Right.
And so I'm hoping this new album has a lot of his old style, and then, it's this dopamine rush of nostalgia where I was like, oh my God, I'm back in 2002. Like that.
Do you feel like someone like Eminem, I'm just fascinated what you think, like going back to his, like you said, original playbook that clearly had success. is like an obvious sign of desperation in a way?
No.
Or is
Well,
it
no.
like he doesn't have to do that?
No.
But
he doesn't have to do it. You know,
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
He's a very weird case where he is so successful. Like, I didn't even realize that his bad albums were going like 4 or 5 times platinum.
Yeah, probably,
You know,
yeah.
like some of his like shitty albums, like one of them went like diamond, and I was like, this
Yeah.
one sucks.
Yeah.
You know, and even the latest ones, I think, went like 2 or 3. Like they're always going platinum.
Yeah.
So he's always like, I'm still making money and succeeding and all that.
Yeah.
I think he is at the point 50, whatever. Now is the time that you get to do the throwback. You know
just
what I
having
mean?
fun at this point.
Yeah, like I think if he did it, if it was like, that's where it's very hard. It's like, I don't like the new shit he did, but I respect that he was just like, I'm going to rap this fucking fast every single time.
Yeah.
And I'm going to use this accent and I'm going to do all these things.
Yeah.
And a lot of people didn't like him, but he did like them. And now I think he's earned the right to be like, I'm going to go back to, I'm going to get beats from Dr. Dre.
Yeah.
I'm going to,
Yeah.
say some fucked up shit that makes people go, ooh.
Yeah.
I don't think it's desperate when you were on top of the world doing it.
I agree.
It's like a victory lap almost,
Yeah.
you know?
But that's the thing I actually respect about Kanye. You mentioned him. Like, I feel like continues to evolve his sound, or at least try to.
Yeah.
That's what I think, at least. I think a lot of people don't like his newest music, but he's not making things that sound like College Dropout anymore.
No.
So
Which I get.
yeah.
But I also don't get.
Yeah. I don't know.
The total departure from that. Like,
Yeah.
so rarely. Like, just give me a soul sample and
Yeah.
a feature from
Yeah.
somebody and just rap a little bit, you know?
Look, I see on my level, I see comments like, I want Quinn to put out stuff that he made back in 2017.
Interesting.
And it's like I actually saw John Bellion, who's an amazing songwriter and producer, artist. He did an interview a couple years ago, and he said something like, I don't care if, I think he said like, if so-and-so from Illinois who's 17 years old doesn't like this new music I'm putting out. For me, I have to evolve and keep doing a new thing, because if I'm not getting satisfaction from it, what am I doing this for? Like, he's like, I could make 20 of the first albums I ever made,
Right.
but if I'm not getting any like growth out of it, there's no
And also
benefit.
it's like, I'm not, 22 anymore.
Exactly.
I'm
Your
married
tastes
now. I have
change.
kids now,
Yeah.
But then I go back to also like, if you can just make 20 of those records, can you make a couple and break us off?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
For the people
That's
who
true.
really love the old style, just like, then do it. You know what I mean?
For me, it's weird because a lot of my music's rooted in talking about my ex-girlfriend from high school. And now I'm 32 and married and have a baby, and like, it's like I can't do this anymore. Really.
Right.
Like, I even need to stop. I've noticed I talk about it a little too much in my shows at times, and I'm like, I just need to kind of like cool that off a little.
But you know what? It's hard, I think, when you hit our stage in life. It's not as like, there's a lot to speak about when it comes to fatherhood and love and growth.
But that's not sexy. That's not the juicy
and you
shit.
can't do it in like a 2-minute, 3-minute song.
Yeah.
And so it's like, and nobody wants to really hear about it, to be honest.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, great,
No.
you're a father,
No.
who cares?
Yeah, exactly.
Let's hear about like your heartbreak or like
Yeah.
this, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like,
yeah, it's a really tough place, actually. I'm glad you said that, to be like happy in your private life, but still make I don't want to say provocative, but alluring art that people find fascinating.
Right.
Like, and yeah, so it's that's been a challenge for me recently, is how to like make the standard American happy like lifestyle exciting, you know,
hard.
like being a dad, being a husband.
I
like,
do think you have a prime like an athlete does when you make music, or like what I do, where it's like, because I was going out at night and I was like drinking till the sun came up and waking up somewhere I didn't even know where I was, and then I was writing a blog about it. That's interesting.
Yeah.
Now it's like, I went to Little League practice last night. You know,
That's awesome,
you
though.
know,
That's
it is-
awesome.
it is, and I'm hopefully going to try to, music is a little different because you can't write a song about that. I can do a podcast.
if you're a country, you could probably write a song about that.
Little League. maybe you could. Yeah, Little League baseball with the kid. I pitched 2 amazing innings last night.
Did
by
you?
the way. Everybody got a hit, and they were only like the innings were like 5
are
minutes
the dads or like parents
Yeah.
pitching?
Yep.
Okay.
So the goal is not to get them out, is to get them hits. And I was like, bam, bam, bam,
Yeah.
bam. It was
You
great.
throwing any like junk balls in there?
No, right over. I put it right where they want it. But yeah,
That's
I think
awesome.
there's something about that age and it can be different ages. Something about that period of life that's just so awesome, and you can't like recapture it. Do you know Kai Cenat, the streamer?
Yeah, of course.
last night he had Kevin Hart and Drewski on his stream, and they had a sleepover. That's what Kai does. He does sleepovers.
Didn't he just have Kevin?
He had Kevin
and Drewski
and
separately.
then he put them together.
I mean, that probably exploded.
700,000 people were watching concurrently.
That is so absurd.
Fucking madness.
I don't do a good job of keeping up with like Twitch streams and like who but like that industry is so
That's the
insane.
next. That's it, man.
So insane.
It's a shame. I feel like I always tried to be like, what's next? Like when I was a blogger, I started podcasting, and then when I was podcasting, I was like, I got to do short form video, and I feel like streaming is it. But I'm a 40-year-old dad of 2, and like
I was gonna ask you now with your stage of life, and I'm feeling this right now. Like, do you feel exhausted keeping up with trends and who's
doing those 1 Minute Man videos? I have to be like on top of everything.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, like news broke. I gotta fucking make this video.
Do you have someone that reports to you like what's going on in the world? Because you probably
I just got an intern this summer, and I said, if you can do me a favor, because also this weird thing happens to me where I will consume something, and I'm like my content brain is turned off. Where I just read a headline, I'm like, oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
And then someone will be like, hey, you haven't made a video on this, and I'm like, oh yeah, how the fuck did I not think to make a video on this one? So he sends me. I just told him, text me any headlines you see.
Yeah.
And maybe I'll make it, maybe I won't, but maybe it'll jar my brain to do it, you know?
Yeah.
So he's, 22, so he's like,
he's got nothing else to do.
Yeah. So I finally just started doing that. That's another thing I learned, and I'm sure this is big in the music industry, definitely with Kendrick and Drake and reference tracks and writing and all that shit, ghostwriting. Like, I have great producers and stuff, but like, I'm pretty much done everything myself. I wrote my own blogs. I do the podcast. I write my own. I don't even write scripts for those videos. I just say it.
Yeah.
And then I learned that there's people in the industry, even people here, that have like teams of writers and shit. And I'm like, wow, that would be so much fucking easier.
It's nuts.
Why don't I do that? And then I think about, well, I got to like hire them, and I invest that much money. But then if we make this much more, it works out. And, and I end up just doing it myself anyway. But
it also
music, I feel like that's a huge thing, right?
Yeah, you could easily. I mean, you myself, like I could get a bunch of people to help on a song, but for me, I mean, I just think I could say the words I want to say better coming from myself because I know what I want to say.
Right.
But it's not as gratifying sometimes to have all of those cooks in the kitchen.
I think that's when you're just trying to make money, right?
Yeah,
or
kind of.
Trying to be famous. It was just like, here's the hook and the beat, and sing it like this, and you go. Right?
Yeah, and sometimes it gets very political though, because like you'll see someone like Beyonce has like 20 writers. If you can actually go on Spotify and see the credits, and there's like 20 people there. And it's not that Beyonce needs 20 people to help write a song. She can definitely write her own music, but I think at that point it's like it gets political, and it's like, okay, well, I manage this writer, and some managers want publishing, and that guy knows him, and I don't know.
Isn't it like if I gave you like one bar, it goes as a writing credit?
Technically,
sort of thing?
if you're in the room, the industry standard is like if you're in the room, the session is like if we schedule a recording session, it's like, all right, me, Kevin, everyone here, we're gonna all write a song today, and no matter who does what, because we were all in here when the day started. Whatever happens, we all get the equal splits on.
I kind of like that, and I kind of hate that.
I had a really tough time with that at the start of things. Like when I first moved to LA, I was like literally keeping track of what I did. I was like, all right, so I wrote the verse and the pre-chorus, but that guy said something about the bridge, and so all right, I'll give him that. And
but also, even like I can see like when she's in the room, the vibe is just much better, and we're laughing and we're goofing. Like she didn't write a word of it, but she kind of was part of the process. Cal
told me this. He's like a lot of what sometimes it's more valuable just to be in the room and to give off that energy and spark. That sometimes sparks the creativity that you're looking for.
Hey, remember that time you said that one thing, dude?
Exactly.
And it just goes.
That is just as valuable as writing the lyric, in my opinion.
Well, that's like, what's her name? I think Amber Rose, right? What's her name? No, I think it's
Amber Rose, who like married Wiz Khalifa.
Yes,
really? Okay.
She, I think, was thinking about.
She was dating Kanye.
I think she wanted to either sue or whatever. Kanye.
She said she had inspiration.
I'm his muse.
I mean,
like
she's probably got like a real case behind that.
I mean, like it was. I think it was like My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy was like their years together.
No way.
And like
that's my favorite Kanye album.
It's a slippery slope, though. It's like I do think you were, but then it's also like. you were just his girlfriend. He put all the work in. And if you were helping and all that, that's a different story. If it was just like we had a tumultuous relationship while this happened, you don't deserve all my money.
Yeah.
But it is an interesting topic.
She's got a point there. Yeah. That's really interesting, actually.
Yeah.
I don't know how that would work in like.
It was. I think it was like a couple months ago.
Court of
So I think
law.
it's like starting to play out. I don't know if there is a court that would hear it or whatever, but you at least probably have a case to try whether or not you would.
That's fascinating. Yeah, man. I don't know. I guess from like to finish what I was saying, like I got too exhausted about keeping track of my slices of the pie, and I was just like, look, I'm gonna burn out if I'm gonna keep doing this every year.
So then wait, so you then did it all by yourself, or you just gave credit?
No. So then I just was like, I'm gonna accept that like whoever I work with today, we're all gonna get equal share.
Yeah.
But
But
also,
that means money too.
Yeah. So, but you also
tough.
well, not money. No, it just publishing credit.
Okay.
So like it's just. You also don't come off as a dick by like you're gonna burn all your relationships if you're like, okay, well, I'm
never gonna help that guy again. He doesn't even give me credit.
Yeah, so you got to kind of pick your battles.
What'd you think of Drake and Kanye?
Drake and Kendrick.
Yeah.
Is it over technically?
I think it's over. Drake deleted all of his.
I saw that. Didn't he like?
Yeah, I think that was him like declaring like.
I think Kendrick kind of like.
I think Kendrick smashed him,
manslaughtered
which
him.
I like.
And I actually love Drake.
I love Drake.
And I think I like.
Yeah,
I think I like Drake more than Kendrick, honestly.
Like that, yeah.
But Kendrick just like it was relentless. I got to a point where I remember I was playing a show one weekend, a string of college shows, and I was with my band in the green room, and I was showing them like. I was like, you guys got to listen to the latest Kendrick diss track. And then 5 minutes later, he dropped another one. And we were all in real time.
The
being
strategy
like,
behind it was
like,
crazy.
This guy just has he was fucking
ready.
Foot on Drake's neck, and like,
and I heard so many whispers from people I know in the music industry saying that Drake was the one that had all these records ready, and he was gonna drop right after Kendrick put his out, and it ended up being the exact opposite.
Well, you see that Drake set Kendrick up for one of his diss tracks. Drake gave him all this information that like.
See, I don't
posed him at really.
Yeah, I think that the internet said that. And Drake was happy to. At that point in the battle, it was all lies. You're an abuser. You're a pedophile.
Yeah.
And I think he was just like, yeah, we made all that up. I don't. That's hard when there's a rap battle and everybody is lying. Yeah. It's kind of like, well, what do we?
Yeah.
How are we gonna judge this? You know.
I mean, I don't know though if it's. Who knows? I have no grounds to speak on this, but like, I don't. It's tough to say what. That's the other thing. It's like. Everyone's so impressionable, like listening, because you're like, I don't know what's going on in their private life. So yeah, I guess Drake is a pedophile.
Yeah.
But like, I don't know. So it's tough to read between the lines and like know what's true and what's fake. But I do know like Drake's bodyguard got shot or something.
Yeah, like right after.
Real things did happen.
And
like
that, you know what? I thought that was gonna be like the end of it.
Yeah.
And it still kind of like lingered, and people were still talking shit, and I was like. All right.
The one thing everybody like the Biggie Tupac, like we were like back in the golden age of rap battle,
right?
Like, rap
I
beef.
loved it.
Yeah.
But that one thing that everybody said was like that led to like murder and death, and it was terrible.
Right.
And this one is gonna stay just on record, and then it didn't. It was like, oh fuck.
It would be crazy in this day and age for something to. I mean, you would never want to see it elevate that level. But imagine if like.
I mean, Tupac and Biggie dying back to back years.
That would be like Kendrick and Drake both dying.
They both died. Kanye
that
and Drake died. Yeah,
so
like back
so absurd.
Like, it would be bananas.
That is actually really,
I think about that a lot with all things.
Mind-blowing.
Like when Michael Jordan retired for a couple of years because his father got murdered. If LeBron James, when
I thought he was playing baseball or something.
Well, he did, but it was like his dad got murdered, and
seriously,
his dad's first love with him was baseball. So he was like, I want to like.
I didn't know that actually.
Right.
I just thought he just wanted to try a different sport.
Imagine if. Like in the middle of LeBron's career, his dad, his mom got murdered, and then he retired for a couple of seasons. Again, it would be like insane.
Yeah, that's
the coverage of everything these days is like just so much more intense. You know?
Yeah.
But yeah, man, it's good to see. I love that like you have your audience that like stays. It's when I see so many people with so many fake. Not fake, but like these, give me a year and these followers are going to be gone, or these people aren't going to remember you or care about you.
It's a great segue, by the way.
What's that?
It's a great segue. Michael Jordan's murdered father to my fans.
But I just like,
I appreciate it though.
There is, and I think I did meet you or come to know your music through probably Time Flies, because it was just like the same, genre. And I feel like those guys kind of had the same thing where it's like early fans finding something and being like, I love this, and it's like it's like Barstool.
I got lucky too, because I mean we're actually similar in the sense that like I feel like we got in not even knowing it, but like saw success before this boom of social media, and you kind of locked in these like supporters,
real people.
Yeah. Like I was putting out music back when like music blogs were a thing.
And the blog era was
right. It was the best. Like getting your song on a blog was like getting a Billboard Hot 100 song, you know? And so I think those people have stuck with me for a while now, which I'm so fortunate for. But yeah, you didn't realize it at the time that we were going to get into this whole phone generated world of like content that's
you're
so
happy
fast.
that you were before it?
Very much.
Yeah.
I think I don't think I'd survive. Like as people who are like out of college, and I don't say this to like deter anyone from not pursuing what they want to do, because they absolutely should. It is like the best and worst time, I think, to go for like what you believe in.
Right.
Because there's so many people doing it, but there's also, you have the world at your fingertips, and you can literally impact so many people.
And like all you need is
your phone
and mic.
Yeah,
maybe you're good.
So like it's like the highest highs and lowest lows. So but I am glad I got in when I did, because I think it's just I don't think,
and you're like a little bit normalized. Like we haven't been completely poisoned and ruined by the internet.
Not
like
completely.
I see some of these kids who are like,
I'm still a little fucked up, but
like we were right on the border. We lived life without it.
Yeah,
and then we became totally addicted to it.
It's a very interesting.
But being born into it, like even some of these streamers, it's like, you could be like 16 years old and you're streaming with like 200,000 people watching you. That's
really nuts.
Fucking crazy.
It's really nuts.
There's no way you can grow up normal.
No, you can't. Yeah. So yeah, man.
Here's to being old and aging appropriately and still trying to make money while doing it.
Yeah. Absolutely, man. Absolutely.
So you got you're doing this 3 EP drop, and you drop breakfast.
Yes.
Lunch is next.
Couldn't fucking remember.
And then I think dinner comes after that.
Yeah. And then we might do like a dessert deluxe situation if people still fuck with it. I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, no, it's I got a single coming out next Friday called Melt, and then the EP launch is coming out. It's cool though. I think my fans know me now as like a foodie, and
how's the mustard biz?
It's good. We're in the process of making it right now.
Nice.
So
like your own official mustard.
Yeah. So we're tough business to get into. The condiment business.
Really?
Yeah. Very. It's a lot more difficult than I was expecting, but it's, again, I like doing something like this though, because I think food. I mean, there's been a few artists like Action Bronson has really represented like the chef culture, and I think there's been a couple other guys, but like for the most part, I haven't seen someone really like rep food as like a central theme to their album.
Yeah.
And I thought that was like an interesting world to go in and just fucking try it out. So dude, we're just this whole year is like food promo style music, but the music has nothing to do with food. It's just the world it lives in.
Right. Yeah.
But yeah, man, no, the song comes out next Friday, and the EP is gonna follow after that, a few weeks after, and just fucking everyone watching, I love you guys. Thanks for supporting.
Hell yeah, man. You know what you got to get down with? I just saw this yesterday. Heinz created the
Ed Sheeran thing.
What is
you're talking about?
What is it?
Heinz did a collab with Ed Sheeran, where they made a custom bottle of his tattoo sleeves.
Oh, that's cool. I didn't see that.
Very cool. Yeah.
What I was gonna say is they made a machine that's like the Coke machines where you can mix, but it's with
sauces.
condiments. So it's like you start with like a ketchup base, and you can put in like
you've seen
hot
this?
sauce, and then it goes and it spins it so that it's all mixed up.
Where is it though?
I don't know. I just saw an Instagram video where it was like, I think at like some expo or some.
That's genius.
So I was like, get your mustard in that, bro. A little Dijon, a little mayo, a little of your mustard.
That is very interesting. Yeah, we got to figure this out. So. Jesse's already left. Only one of my managers is left. He's like, I can't handle this anymore. We're trying to get like a little food truck to follow us on tour this year, just to like sling the mustard and
Once
shit.
you get the fans, like you can sell. It starts with merch, right? You do
Once you get them in the palm of your hand,
then they buy everything from me. Yeah, man. Buy my album, buy my T-shirt, and buy a bottle of mustard.
Buy my fucking mustard. Yeah.
Good seeing you, man. This was great.
Thank you, man.
All right, thanks for watching. Make sure you subscribe, like, and leave a comment below. Click that button.
Or I'll cut off my finger.